Alright, so this is a one-shot of Blades in the Dark. We are going to be doing this game using the one-shot rules, so we'll be skipping crew creation and just diving right into making our characters. Alright, so today we have Shane's here, and Richard, and Mikhail.
Michael.
Michael, sorry. Apologies.
I'm used to it.
All right. Cool. So we're gonna kind of run through the character creation process here. So you can check out page 57 in the book, or look at the character creation sheet. And I don't have the character creation sheet uploaded, but I do have the other two rules reference sheets uploaded. They're under the handouts. So the first thing you're going to do is choose your playbook. So you have a number of options to choose from. See if any of them stand out to you. It's on page 61 onward in the book. Does everybody have the PDF, I should ask? Or do they have the text of Blades of the Dark in some way or another?
Yep, I do.
Good stuff. Ooh, you got the special edition. Wow.
Oh, you got the... I just
Fancy.
got the hardcover, but not the special one.
That's what I got as well, yeah. Yes. I'm jealous. I want that extra campaign setting.
Oh, there's an extra campaign setting in here?
There's the Doskfall one, and then there's one for Arivia as well. That was like
Oh,
part of
yeah.
the special edition.
Huh.
Yes.
So, do people have any interest in any particular playbooks?
I'm probably leaning more towards Spider or Slide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am probably leaning towards either Whisper or Lurk.
Okay. Interesting.
I have done the Hound a couple of times, so I'm kind of leaning against either the Cutter or the Hound.
All right. So maybe we're gonna have a very sort of like socially oriented team here.
Mhm.
Which is fine. We're not using a crew book, but we could play something like, dealers, or, we could play, yeah. I don't think Bravos would be the appropriate choice for this group. It could be Hawkers, could be Shadows, maybe. So kind of two options that might make sense. Or a cult, of course. We can play a cult.
I have not played this since Dreamation 2016. So February of 2016.
Okay.
I think the last time I played this, I was with Shane. So
Wait, were you in that game?
yeah,
Oh, you were in that game too?
I was
Wow.
in that game too.
It's
Uh,
kismet.
That game,
that game. And that,
for which none of us blame the game.
no, we blame that guy and we blame the GM.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that guy has
Those
been in
games.
so many of my Dreamation games too. So
I am so sorry.
So
yeah.
heads up to that guy. Don't be that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually ran Blades in the Dark.
I'm pretty sure that neither Shane nor I are that guy. So
No.
Good.
yeah,
Seeing as though, like, I and Whitney bonded over, like, that guy's horribleness.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. He's
He's bad.
Oh
Yeah.
no. That's terrible.
Basically, there was no X card. There needed to be an X card, and it was uncomfortable as fuck.
Yeah. So just bringing that up, we should probably offer the X card here. You make
Yes.
it available.
Not that I think not that I think it usually needs to be available for this game, but it was really necessary and it wasn't there.
Ugh.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I actually ran Blades for half an hour a night for 3 weeks before a show I directed because it was about it was D&D based. We did a cult, and one of the players changed the name of the goddess that they worshipped every single session. Like we weren't taking it terribly
cultist.
because it was mostly just so an audience can see what an actual RPG kind of looks like. But we played it very tongue in cheek, but it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Most devout worshiper.
It'll be the garage of Steve and the bath of Jeff.
Nice.
All right. So does anyone have a kind of focus here for what they're doing for their characters?
Considering most of the spider stuff is more downtime, it's a little of the leverage mastermind, but it's mostly sort of end of session and prepping for the next one. Slide probably makes more sense on a one shot.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yep.
Rich, do you have a preference for what's left over?
Not really. I was about to ask you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, I guess it kind of depends on. It probably depends on what we want to be doing. I mean, do we want a spooky person? Should I be playing a spooky person, or should I be playing like? Basically, do I go whisper or do I go lurk? Those are like the main. Those are the kind of like the two questions. Do we want spooky whisper person, or do we want sneaking around lurking person?
I would be glad to take whichever one of those you don't opt for.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have sort of the spider. We'll end up with the spider, the lurk, and the whisperer.
Well, no. I don't think we were going spider. I think we were going with the
Slide.
Slide. Sorry. I misspoke.
That's
lurk,
cool.
slide, and whisper. So.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
And I should say that this is my second time running Blades in the Dark, and
Excellent.
the first time I ran it was not amazing, so I'm gonna do better this time.
Well, you've obviously been studying,
yeah,
so that's good.
That's right.
Today I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
we're shooting for that.
Yeah.
For this,
Yeah.
And like
not
maybe 45 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Setting expectations initially is a good thing.
That's
okay, I'll go with the whisperer.
Cool. Okay, so we have
with a whisper.
a slide, we have a lurk, and we have a whisper, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, to generate playbook abilities items, enter the name of the playbook. Won't let me.
Will not let you. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, hold on. All right, there we go. Playbook.
It's super cool that they got this well set up.
Yeah, no,
The old one,
the blade sheets are really good.
yeah, the old ones on here.
I'm not all that surprised. I mean, John plays with them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But it's definitely one of the better organized sheets on Roll20. All right. So.
Most of the games I'm running not having sheets.
Just story games, or
some of them, or just a mix of ones. Occasionally there's some that are in there, but a lot of them, I've had to create a lot of really janky sheets.
Oh boy, yeah.
Like mostly just in the bio and info place.
I generally just skip using Roll20 and do it all in Google Sheets.
That's what I'll do unless there's some compelling reason to use Roll20. In this case, I think having those sheets there is good enough. Because I haven't used I heard the Google Sheet for this game is also very good, but I haven't used it yet, so it's a little bit more comfortable. All right. So I want to know here.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so if you choose your playbook, then the next thing you want to choose is your heritage. So are you Scovian? What do you get for options here?
Okay.
Scovian, Aruvian,
Akoros, Dagger Isles,
Aruvian, and
Cytheros,
yes,
Tigros.
yeah.
What is Tigros?
Those are the creepy demon people from outside of the Imperium. Right. Yes.
I'm trying to remember if it would make sense for someone who'd been a military scout in this world. Since I think the military, I don't know if they go out beyond the wall or not.
Well, the military would cover like all the different areas of the realm, so it's possible.
It's an empire, remember?
Yeah. Doskval is like one city in the empire, and it's not even the capital.
Yeah. I guess the military is what probably moves in between, besides the Leviathan hunters.
Yeah. It actually doesn't talk very much about the military in the setting book.
Yes, I haven't actually looked at it much since probably about 2 years ago.
So about before I even played.
Yeah.
It has definitely changed a lot. Yeah.
So if you want a reference, Scovians are basically like Scandinavians of some kind, Viking-ish people. The Akaroshi are basically the generic Europeans. They're the dominant group in the empire. The Aruvians are kind of like Persian-ish, and the Tyrosi, I think they're called, are like the creepy demon people from abroad, the foreigners, weird sort of features. And then the Dagger Isles are kind of like jungle land. I don't really know exactly.
No, that's the Dagger Isles are like all the Corsairs and merchants and stuff like that.
But they also are the archipelago with the jungle.
Yeah.
I chose that.
Yeah.
I chose that mostly because it just sounds cool.
Yeah, totally fair.
Yeah, maybe I'll go. I guess I'll go Aruvian.
All right. There are some.
I think I'm going to go Aruvia as well.
All right. Nice. There's some really cool Aruvian playbooks that Johnstone Metzger has made, but I'm not going to link those right away.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you kind of just said there are some really cool things that Johnstone Metzger has done.
Yeah.
Surprising absolutely no one.
Yeah. Indeed.
That guy.
Yeah.
Just cannot seem to, like, suck at anything. Johnstone, try to suck harder.
Message to you.
Yeah.
So does everyone have a heritage chosen?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So we'll continue on. Choose your background. So detail your choice with a specific history. For example, laborer, Leviathan hunter, mutineer.
Do they have other examples of that, or are they just those? Are those only examples?
I believe there are other examples. Yes, it is the background.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, page 54.
Yeah. Yes. Academic, labor, law, trade, military, noble, underworld.
Background trade. Action dots. Do.
So what are you all thinking here for your backgrounds?
I'm going with trade. I think I'm probably going to be like some sort of a kind of sculptor slash kind of like I see making like small figurines for some reason.
Okay. Like, I see. So you make like kind of like, are these like sort of works of high art, or these are like common trinkets that you sell?
I think somewhere in the middle. So I'm thinking like kind of like, do you know what Netsuki is?
Uh, I, maybe.
Netsuke.
Netsuki. No, I don't think I do. What is it?
I will just show you. I will put in a link. Do if I can find this here. I guess that would be chat. That right?
Got it.
Hey, those are pretty tiny little carvings.
Yep.
Okay.
Usually made out of like bone or ivory or things like that.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, this has screwed up my video window. So
Nice.
thanks, Google. That's really appreciated. Right, I'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye.
Not my drink while you're doing that.
I'm back.
No.
All right, so so okay, I'm familiar with those. I think I have one in my room right now. I bought one in Taiwan. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is so you kind of it's kind of a middle class clientele that comes to you is kind of the
Yeah, I
idea
think
here.
so.
Okay,
I think that makes sense. I
okay.
feel like they're probably like carvings of, I don't know, gods or like
Mm,
spirits or something like that that people use in their like home shrine type things or something like that.
okay. So you were Eruvian, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So, uh, did you come to Duskfall to work your trade, or
Um, I think I came. I think I came to kind of learn about the like the gods slash dark powers that inhabit this land as opposed to my own. I
so
feel
you're
like I had kind of. I feel like not so much an armchair uh, scholar or something like that, but just kind of like I I want to learn about all these things and like have interactions with them, and I feel like I've kind of like done enough with like those in Aruvia, and I feel like I want to learn those that are here in um, this land, as it were.
okay. So maybe you have some dealings with the shadier side of the university.
It's possible, yes,
Yeah.
possible. Um, I mean, I'm going with the cultist build out for the most part, so I'm getting a cultist. So
Mhm.
knowing secret ways to consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, or demons.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That makes sense for Aruvia. It's sort of rumored that there are all sorts of strange spirits that run things there. Um, and and yeah, I mean, I think you'll probably have interactions with the faculty of the university there. That's all interested in that sort of thing. Although there may be some other groups I just am not familiar with that might be appropriate as well. Anyhow, okay. So someone else want to tell me about your background?
Was a spy for the military,
Okay.
kind of person who'd go in ahead of time, um, get to know people, get to find out what's going on in the area. He's good at just talking with people and figuring them out.
Okay. So you were like a psyops kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
also went with a military background, and I figured I was doing I figured I was doing ghost research for the military,
Okay.
which should be forbidden if I remember in Duskable,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sketchy. It should at least
It's
be
it's it's a
sketchy.
little bit, yeah,
Dicey.
dicey.
It's
Yeah.
dicey. Yeah,
It's not that
yeah.
the university doesn't do it, but it's definitely not the church. The church is not super into it. That's for sure. Yeah.
So I think when they were finished with my research, they gave me a good hefty sum of money to just go away.
Okay. You got your golden parachute.
Yeah, I got my golden parachute by knowing enough to embarrass lots of people.
Okay. Great. And your character was also a Rivian, right?
Right, but I think I specifically kind of was playing on the Aruvian people's reputation for dark dealings,
Mm-hmm.
which may not be well earned, but it certainly can be profitable if you're willing to use it against people.
Right. So you have like you cultivate a persona and a reputation.
Right, right.
And so do you think do you think coming to Doskval was part of your kind of settlement with the military? Like, go somewhere else, get out of our hair here.
GTFO.
Yeah, like go to the other side of the Imperium, basically.
I think maybe staying in Dustfall was what's making people uncomfortable.
Okay, so you were
Like
working.
I was in Dustfall,
Gotcha.
and then I was paid to leave, and I left the military, but did not leave the city.
Okay, cool. So you were supposed to leave.
Yeah, leave is a very ambiguous command, as anyone who commands Ghost around would know.
Yes. All right. Cool. So you were supposed to leave Doskull, but you didn't. So okay. So I'm sure you're gonna have like a contact in town who's with the military, no doubt. Because yeah, you'd still have a lot of acquaintances from working in that part of town. All right, and Michael, what are we looking at here for your background?
As the military
Oh, the
spy.
spy, right? And
I like the idea that they, like an idiot, he fell in love with the wrong person. He decided they'd try to make a life, and she was kind of more interested in the fact that he had some money coming in that had to go someplace while he was out and about.
mhm.
So he ended up coming back thinking that this was going to go well, and it crashed pretty early, leaving him really without a place. So he had to make it on his own.
So, did you leave the military for this person?
Yeah, I think basically we decided, yeah, we're going to come out and make a life, which was not what she was planning on.
Okay, so you unfortunately ended up with up in Doskull, and you didn't really have a way to get out. It was kind of the situation here. You ran out of money.
Not enough money to kind of go.
Okay, so you're stuck in Doskull. Cool. Good to know. All right. So you assign your action dots. You get excuse me. You get 4. So 1 dot in any action you feel reflects your character's heritage. 1 dot in any action you feel reflects your character's background, and assign 2 more dots anywhere you please. And the maximum rating is 2. Then, of course, your playbook already has 3 placed, so you just add on top of that.
Okay. Oops. Okay, got my 3. Or
Cool.
3, yeah.
Yeah, looks good. And did you? So the next thing you're gonna want to do here is pick a special ability.
Okay, I got that.
All right. Okay. So you can always tell when someone's lying to you. Good.
Which is he's very good at, except when he desperately wanted to think she wasn't lying to him.
That is.
It's amazing what you'll tell yourself.
That's an interesting irony for your character. Yeah.
I almost unclicked it, but I'm like, nah, she was his blind spot. That's where he was stupid.
All right. Cool. So we have a very spooky crew, and then this kind of sad sack spy. Cool.
And he's a cool spy. He's just stupid when it comes to love. Hey guys, you can rob a place.
All right. So now that you've chosen a special ability, you choose one close friend and one rival. Each playbook has a list of NPCs your character knows. Choose one from the list who has a close relationship, a good friend, a lover, a family relation, etc. Mark the upward pointing triangle next to their name, then choose another NPC on the list who's your rival or enemy. Mark the downward pointing triangle next to their name. Alright. So, Michael, you've got a tavern owner as your ally, and a gang leader as your rival. Cool.
That was her brother.
Ah. Maybe he was kind of in on taking your money.
I kind of like the idea that he just thinks I'm an asshole.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't so much he was trying to scam me. It's just that I, quote unquote, broke his sister's heart. So.
Right.
And she probably told him all sorts of things.
Right. And Shane, you have a spirit trafficker as your ally and a witch as your enemy. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm thinking that witch is probably one of the, as you were saying, like someone at the academy or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, could be.
I feel like I probably kind of like, used them for their for some sort of information and burned them somehow.
Maybe some information they leaked to you got out and it wasn't appreciated.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, and sure you've got you're friends with a vampire. Hey, there you go.
Nice.
Skurlock, good old Skurlock.
Yeah, I figured that Skurlock and Satara may have been reversed in affection for me only a short time ago, and I don't know why it's all changed. But suddenly Skurlock and I get along, and Satara and I do not.
Okay.
I will say I do sense that there might have been some sort of romantic liaison of some sort with Quillen. I think that's probably where the bad blood.
Yeah.
happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's gonna be a game about getting over our exes. Okay.
And they're all roommates.
The real world, Duskfall.
not gonna lie, I'm kind of into this idea. Good stuff. Okay. So next, you're going to choose your vice. Every scoundrel is enthralled to some vice or another, which they indulge to deal with stress. Choose a vice from the list and describe it on the line above with the specific details and name and location of your vice purveyor in the city. So, faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or weird. Excuse me, I'm gonna go grab some water. Be right back.
Okay.
All right. So what did you find? What did you choose for your vices here?
I'm going with stupor, specifically leeching.
Ooh.
And someone named Lynthia, who is in the night market, is my purveyor.
Okay. So you go to have your humors adjusted with leeching. Very good. Nice into it.
I'm a poker player. I go to the Gnarled Stick, which is kind of a low-life tavern in, I haven't decided which part of town. Not a good one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you do have the book, there is an extra map that shows the different sort of class distributions of the different districts of town.
Oh, really? Where's that?
It is. It's on.
Say it's in Crow's Foot. Probably close enough to some money and low lives.
Sure, yeah. It's page 255 in the bottom right corner. You can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it was the Gnarled Stick.
Yep.
And in Crow's Foot. So the gang part of town.
Just on the edge. Close enough where you do get some other people looking for a bit more of a thrill of some money showing up.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Richard, do you have a vice here?
Yeah, I was just pick. It was the Quick Start had this wonderful sort of pleasure barge where people who indulged in pleasure as their vice went.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten where that
I'll
is
give you
or
the
what
name.
its name was. Oh, thank
I'll
you.
get it for you. It's I just was there. There's a page of vice purveyors.
Mm-hmm.
In the book. Come on, I just saw you. There you are. And
the end.
yeah, pleasure barge. The Silver Swan.
All right.
Yeah,
What's the page number on that, Shane?
299.
299. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he goes to work at the Silver Swan, even though
Mm-hmm.
he enjoys his work a little too much.
Okay.
There's a guy that works at the comic book shop who keeps spending all of his money at work.
Yeah,
You get such a great discount.
Yes.
you get a killer discount.
Seriously.
Games Workshop owns his entire salary.
How much do you make a week? It doesn't matter. I don't come home with it.
Yeah, good. Okay. So what kind of pleasures do you indulge in there at the Silver Swan?
I think he is a submissive at the Silver Swan.
Nice.
Okay.
Pleasure? Or stupor?
You know,
It
it's such
depends
a
how good the other person is.
thin boundary. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting for the Whisper.
Which?
Sorry, did I
She'll
have
just
this
switch
mixed
it
up?
to the singer.
You probably had it. You probably had it. Yeah. I'm the Whisper. He's
okay, got it.
the
Lurk.
Lurk.
Ah.
Oh wait, I set up to be the Whisper, Shane. I'm sorry.
Oh, great! Awesome.
I apologize. I got confused.
Oh, that's okay.
I'll switch it out real quick.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay,
Multi-whisper.
I just got completely confused
that's
because
okay.
day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Turkey does that.
Okay, so Richard, you are going to be the
I will be the lurk,
Lurk.
so I just need to switch up real quick.
okay, and Shane is the Whisperer. Got it.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, I'm glad we figured that out now.
Yes.
yeah, I had been like an awkward moment.
So
I do the whisper thing, but I do the. Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, 1 sec.
and Shane, your advice was
Stupor, leeching.
right, leeching. Yeah, there's a market part of town that might work for.
I put myself in the night market.
Yeah.
In the night market?
Yeah,
That's like it'd
makes
be the right
sense.
place. Specifically, someone named Lynthia.
Mm.
I just went with a random name. I don't know if you wanted someone in particular, though.
Nope, that's totally fine. So does this like help in some way with your supernatural interactions?
I think so, like a little bit. I feel as though probably like, I feel like it's one of two things. Either like somehow like my blood gets when I do my shit, my blood gets kind of bad, and I feel like the leeching helps get that out, or somehow like having gotten leeching done, like having less in me somehow makes it easier for me to kind of talk with these dark powers.
Yeah, because like the way that the um sort of magic is set up in this setting is like it's based on sort of life force, and so like all of the energy is taken from the blood of the leviathans, right?
Right.
The living blood of the leviathans, but like any kind of ectoplasm of any kind comes from like living things. So I could totally see it being like a blood leeching thing, like regulating your ectoplasmic levels or something. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And probably like the person like Lynthia who's leeching you is probably like selling these leeches as like magical batteries or something. Yeah, cool. All right, nice. Good. So let's carry on then. So yeah, record your name, alias, and look.
I am Draw Jedwin, alias Forget Me Not, and my look is ambiguous and lovely, with fitted leggings and a waistcoat.
Okay.
Likely long hair.
Blair's Cardenas with a very disarming smile, wicked scar kind of across his eye that does look distinguished. Both of those things, however, do make him fairly easy to point out, which is sometimes a problem for him. He goes by the alias of Reaper because he's not a particularly good fighter, but if he has a name that sounds like he might be, people might think twice.
Yeah.
Edgelord.
Reaper. Nice.
You're gonna fight me? Oh God, no. Yes, I mean I could.
So what kind of how do you dress Reaper?
It kind of depends on what he's going out for. Because one of the things, definitely, the disguise kit is something we use quite a bit. The nice thing about a cloak is it can hide a lot of the stuff that you're wearing, and he's very good about using that. Generally, what he wears is fairly decent, sort of like what would be like the breeches and pants and stuff for it. But he's also got a couple of things he can put on that will make it either dress up or dress down very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Will probably be in his regular set of gear. He tries to dress fairly non-distinct, but it doesn't particularly help because he's pretty recognizable anyway.
Right.
You see his face, but that's what the hat, like the wide brim hat, can be for.
Right, for sure. This kind of typical Duskball fashion, be very covered up, lots of layers. All right, cool, and very good. And so, Richard, your character is Elgin Slane. Dr. Thorne.
Yep. He is male, slim, long coat, tricorn hat, Eruvian. So
Okay. I think you can go. Just gonna type in lurk here if that's okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's
Cool.
yeah.
And yeah, everything's still fine. Good. All right then. So we're not doing crew creation. So I think we've kind of. Yeah, it says to review your XP triggers. So what exactly do you get XP for?
I have no idea.
Besides the desperate action, it's addressing a challenge with deception or influence. Express beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, and struggle with issue from my vice or traumas during the session.
Right. So your specific
like that'll
thing
be
is to
great.
deceive someone, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to address a challenge with knowledge or arcane power.
Okay.
And that is when you address a challenge with stealth or evasion.
All right. Cool. So I feel like this group could kind of play either sort of as cultists or as shadows. Depending on how we want to go with our direction.
Trying to remember the shadow specific.
Shadows is
There we go.
is like thieves and like what information gatherers or something.
Basically,
Mine was-
spies and thieves.
It might have fit in well with shadows.
Yeah, I think the Whisperer and the Lurk could probably go either way as well. So Shadows is fine.
Okay. So we're not going to actually do that crew
Right.
creation, but
I think that's probably more for you.
yeah, it says everyone wants something they can't have. That's where you come in. When you play Shadows, you earn XP when you execute a burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage operation. Do you spy and steal primarily to serve your own interests, or do you sell your services to whoever will pay? So those are kind of questions to keep in the back of your mind there, at least. And aside from that, we're going to establish a starting situation for the crew. So I think the first thing we want to decide is what part of town our crew is operating out of.
Great question. I mean, certainly I can be middle-ish, class-ish.
Yeah, it sounds like all your characters are kind of middle class. They don't seem to be like the absolute bottom of society.
What was the page that had the? Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Just the quick descriptions again.
You mean the? Oh, here it is. 253. So medium class is going to be kind of the night market, 6 towers. Yeah, those are the main kind of middle class areas.
Well, to be honest, they both sound cool, but night market sounds super cool.
All right. Trade center for exotic goods imported by rail. Many vendors also trade in illicit goods.
Sounds our kind of
Yeah.
place.
The other option was 6 towers, which is a formerly rich district now worn down and dilapidated.
Yeah, it could be very sort of like Fall of the House of Usher or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go with either of those.
Okay. is everybody cool with night market?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it says night market is a district dominated by commerce. Situated near Gadak rail station, night market receives the bulk of saleable goods from the cargo trains that travel across the Imperium, bringing the exotic and rare to Duskfall. The citizens that call night market home constitute a new class of quote-unquote elites. Wealthy people who are not of noble descent, but nevertheless claim land, status, and power without titles. The district has been taken over by new construction, introducing lavish private townhouses with all of the modern advances for the elites that can afford them.
Gentrification.
Yeah, so it's being gentrified. It's kind of like a rising bourgeoisie is here. So do you think your crew is on the upside or downside of that process?
I feel like probably downside. I mean, if we're kind of like middle-ish class, it sounds like the upper class is kind of starting to move in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're probably starting to get pushed out a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. So just looking here. So I think maybe just trying to look at the surrounding districts, what part of town might be the poor part of town here.
Probably closer to, I bet closer to 6. Oh, well, actually, no. I guess it's gonna be closer to the rail area, right?
Yeah, so is that like the west side of the district?
Probably the south. What, south or east? Southeast? Hold on, let me see the
Yeah, south.
border
Looks like
area again.
South side of the night market? Okay.
Definitely the south side. Yeah.
So
Because the rail stations is like kind of looks like it's the mix of low and medium.
Right. So yeah, so you're probably like you've got that kind of
We're probably on the edge of the rail yard and night market.
Like it's always night in Duskfall, but we're gonna get those like night scenes of like the train rolling past and like the whole building shaking, that kind of thing.
It's like playing between The Crow and Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally. Okay,
always
cool.
raining.
All right, so you are like running in night market, or at least operating out of night market. And what kind of hideout do you think you have? What's your headquarters like?
Would it make sense to just be some sort of like kind of maybe abandoned like what are those? Something along the tracks, like either roundhouse, is that what it's called? Like where they turn the trains around or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Either that or some other sort of kind of.
I could see it also just being like your shop.
Yeah, it's possible.
I was gonna say it could be nice to hide in plain sight, sort of situation.
Okay. Yeah,
I a cheap storefront in a part of town that used to have more people coming through it, but now it's not quite as much.
Right.
I mean, I might just have a storefront. Period, since I am like a tradesperson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whether or not I have enough money to actually have a storefront is something completely different. Whether I just sell like in a stall or something like that, as opposed to an actual storefront.
Right. So maybe just looking at your relationships here. Maybe it's like a shared like 2-story shop with Flint. Like
something tells me Flint probably wouldn't be hiding in plain sight.
No, I was thinking more like Flint operates out of the upstairs, and you have the storefront.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I keep an eye on the door for who should or should not be able to kind of go upstairs.
Exactly.
And see him.
Exactly.
Yeah, see that.
All right. So that is Flint and Drov's shop. Does it have a name?
Oh, feel like it probably has like it's still known as like what it was before.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like
okay.
we took it over at some point, but it's still known as like I don't know, like the cobblers or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah,
I feel like we probably like my stuff is kind of maybe in the window if there I mean in the windows, but like we didn't like we didn't replace any kind of signage or anything like that.
Yeah, like it's like one of
still probably still
those
says that.
one of those shops where like the signage has been taken down, but you can still see like where all the weathering is
Yeah.
left over from the
Mhm.
previous signage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of improvised. Cool. All right. So the first thing we're supposed to do here is to establish a conflict in this district that we can kind of play our characters off of. So I'm assuming one of the factions here is going to be sort of the rising mercantile class, and maybe they have some thugs that they're using in this part of town. Actually, you know what? There is a faction. It's called. Where is it? Factions list.
Yeah, I'm looking for the factions by area.
Oh,
I don't think they have factions by area, but there is this faction, the Hive, a guild of merchants who secretly trade in contraband. Named for their symbol, a golden bee. I think they could be one of the groups that's operating in here.
They're pretty high tier, that's for sure.
They are very high tier, yes. I could see them being like one of the groups at play, but not the only ones for sure. Yeah, it would be nice if they were if they were broken down by some categories. Hmm. Yeah. Could be the journalists, muckrakers, and newspaper publishers of Doskval, the ink rakes.
those are the Railjacks. If they're taking the electro trains, especially if we end up stealing from the electro the trains of people.
Right.
Yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
they would definitely be operating in this area. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'd be above us, but only one, which isn't that big a deal.
Yeah. Okay, so the Railjacks are in play. Tier 2. And they have to be in conflict with another faction in town.
What about the Grey Cloaks?
The Gray Cloaks are like the Blue Cloaks who turn to crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. So why would they be in conflict with the Railjacks? Because I feel like the Grey Cloaks would maybe be like shaking people down for protection money. I mean, they're just thugs, right? That's the Blue Coats. They just like
They might have been shaking down like with the Railjacks. Probably looks like they're taking electro trains. They're probably been doing some protection for some of those places. They might have gotten into conflict that way because you've got them trying to shake down the people where the trains and stuff come in, and the Railjacks are probably better off if they have control of the like illicit substances and stuff coming into town.
Okay, so this is kind of like the Teamsters and the mob kind of situation. They're kind of in alliance, kind of in conflict in some situations. Trying to like manage contraband coming in and out of the rail depot.
Where are the railjacks?
They're page 284. The men and women who protect the electro trains of the Imperium from the savage spirits of the Deathlands have recently been making noises about forming a union. So I could totally see the Grey Cloaks basically being like the Pinkertons here, like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now
Union
I just
busting.
want to turn this into Deadwood.
I know, seriously.
How much cussing can we do?
As much as you like.
I can talk like a cussing Shakespeare. That's not a problem.
As opposed to the other Shakespeare
Version.
who is not cussing.
My improv troupe, every once in a while we do like a Shakespeare show where it's all done sort of Shakespearean. It's hands down the dirtiest shows we ever do.
Yeah.
Though
But
it's
how many
much harder to
people-
tell.
But how many people in the audience actually understand that
Yeah.
it's as dirty as it is?
Well, especially considering, I mean, we're only slightly like heightening the language, and it's like modern slang and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like think of those Shakespeare's. There's so much stuff that we just don't use anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the whole beginning of Romeo and Juliet should be hysterical, but we don't have stereotypes for people who carry coal as a job.
This reminds me of Serenity or Firefly, wherein like they all curse in Chinese, but like the censors or whatnot like don't speak Chinese, so they never like figured it out, and
Yeah.
they're saying extremely horribly dirty fucked up shit
Yeah.
when they're doing it.
Yeah.
Limitations make you clever.
That's true. So we need to add a third faction who stands to profit from the conflict.
Oh, let's see here. Union busting. I mean, someone corporate-y or someone kind of in.
I mean that could be the Hive, right? It could also be. Thinking here. So
Is that one we probably want a little closer to where we're at?
what's that?
Did that one we probably want level 1, so they're kind of more on our level?
Okay. Level 1.
Maybe.
Because like the Ulf Ironborn might be someone trying to muscle in
Uh-huh.
those things, and they're actually a group that we are of a level with, so we could probably take on if there was something between us.
Okay. So he's a brutal Scovlander, newly arrived in Doskwell, fighting everyone for turf. All right. Yeah, I could see that. There's also the Lost, a group of street toughs and ex-soldiers dedicated to protecting the downtrodden and the hopeless.
I don't know how they would profit from that fight.
Well, they could, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, you could totally see them siding with the Railjacks, but then that's not really like they're able to sort of just swoop in and profit for themselves, right? There's the Foghounds, who are a group of smugglers.
That would make some sense because they could end up kind of throwing in with whoever is doing better. They're kind of looking for the winning side in
Yeah.
that conflict to throw in with.
Okay, cool. Let's go with that. Alright, nice. So now we have a starting situation. So I think when we do the opening scene, we want to establish a scene at the faction's headquarters, and the PCs are in conversation with a faction leader or second in command about the current situation. So let's see here. So I think we're at the Cobblers. Maybe there's you have like a basement room or like a back room somewhere. Maybe a place that used to be like a storeroom at the back of the store, or could still be a storeroom. um, where you kind of do your business. And which faction do you think would have sent somebody to talk to you about what's going on?
Okay, so it's the Railjacks,
The Grey
the
Cloaks
Grey
and the
Cloaks.
Foghounds. So remember, you're kind of like available to do sort of espionage, skullduggery, that sort of thing.
I mean, that seems... feels like probably the latter two, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the Railjacks.
Yeah, probably not, right? Unless you can come up with a good reason for why that might be the case.
I mean, I was gonna say unless they're trying to get kind of like dirt on somebody, but I don't know. Everybody already knows that the Grey Cloaks are dirty as fuck. So
yeah, yeah, and like, I mean, it could be something like exposing who the Grey Cloaks are working for. Like you could get some kind of like contract information or some dirt to show like,
oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
actually this is like who's hiring the Grey Cloaks,
Right.
because maybe the Railjacks can't fight the Grey Cloaks openly on the street, but if they can kind of turn public opinion against them by showing that they're working for X, Y, and Z, then it might help their cause a little bit.
Yeah, I can get
Also,
behind that.
I think it'd be embarrassing for the Grey Cloaks if there was some sort of infiltration and Ghosts got into Grey Cloak business. If ghosts were planted on the Grey Cloaks or something that would release ghosts,
Nice.
so that
Nice, a little sabotage action there.
Yeah, like haunt their hangout or something. Okay, cool.
So the Grey Cloaks had to come talk to. I mean, they can't afford the Spirit Wardens, so maybe they have to talk to the Railjacks, who are used to just killing ghosts.
Yeah, they have to make a deal. Have to make a compromise.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's an interesting plan.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. The Railjacks kind of like here, go ahead and put this on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go find them and be like, ah.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna grab some names here. So and so yeah, actually, if you want to go take a quick
Oh,
break,
just that gets in here.
Great.
Yeah, I would actually love that.
yeah, like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll just get ready.
Cool.
All right. All right, is everybody pretty much good to go?
Yep,
Great.
I'm good.
Okay. So I think you're in the cobblers in this back room, and this large man with thick dark hair, wearing the great cloak that is typical of the Railjacks, has come into the store and sort of given a sort of knowing look to. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get your character name straight here. To Drav, yes, and sort of said, I've got business for you." And you've gone back into the back rooms here, into the storehouse, and maybe the rest of you have been doing something around the cobblers. What do you think you were up to while Drav was out working the storefront?
I was probably chatting with folks who came in, having a drink. I don't know how happy he is that I'm drinking in their store, but I do.
All right.
Just don't spill it anywhere.
So it's gonna be fine.
That's what you always say.
Yeah. And so, Dr. Thorne, what do you think you've been up to in here?
I think I've been sort of nearby, keeping watch, shifting around from maybe the top of the building. You know, it keeps me in practice. It also makes sure that we know exactly who's approaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk the street for a little bit, then I like hop on balconies of neighboring buildings. I climb the gutters up in the back of this shop up to the roof periodically during the day. So I think I was definitely sort of out watching. So when maybe when the gray cloak came in, I kind of hastened to get the door for him and then kind of slipped in after him.
Right. Yeah. So you already saw this this member of the Railjacks come by. And,
sorry, Railjack. Sorry.
Yeah. Great cloak and gray cloak are pretty close. So you were there to actually usher him in. Yeah. So this guy's come in. He's represented, or he's introduced himself as Aldo Cardera, and he is a foreman among the Railjacks. And he turns to the group and sort of says, "Look, I'm sure you're all aware of the trouble that's been going down by the rail yards lately."
There have been some noisy nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to sleep if you're living over by there because it's not a chaos. We like to keep our stuff a little more quiet than y'all do.
Yeah, we'd like things to be a lot more quiet down there as well. More than a few of my people have been roughed up lately. You know who's responsible?
I didn't know that was a mystery who was responsible.
I just wanted to know if you knew.
Are you looking for individual people, or are you looking for like a group that's responsible there?
The group.
I think you got yourself a problem with the great cloaks, is what I've heard tell.
That's right. Okay, well.
I got it right. I told you I wasn't useless.
That's good for you. Good for you, friend. Well, I've heard a lot of you do some jobs on the side outside this he points to all these like figures that have been assembled and are up on the shelves. All this art that you work.
I'm independently wealthy. I don't really have any concept of needing to work. I just appreciate art and like enjoying it put together.
I'm also a competitive chess player.
I'm just not sure.
You're all funny bunch of comedians, eh? Bunch of regular professional comedians. That's your side job, is it?
Can you make money at that?
Well, here's the thing: we're not as handsome as you, so we have to get by with, being funny in our personalities. That's why people like us so much. They
Yeah,
probably like you because of your beautiful old mug there.
yeah, and like he's got like he's mostly covered up with his cloak, but you can see like on his face, like he's got like all these kind of like weird like burns and stuff from getting encounters with ghosts out on the rails. He's just like, yeah, well, there you go. I'm sure they'd have the crowd rolling and grasping at their sides every night, but I'm looking for your more inconspicuous services.
About those.
You know much about the Grey Cloaks, where they operate?
I'm assuming we kind of know the regular, like what most people know, and probably stuff he also knows, but we just need to reassure him.
Yeah. So, I think the Grey Cloaks are probably they have their base of operations out in Char Hollow, which is sort of a lower class residential district in the town, and they're probably coming regularly down to this part of town to do their business, but this isn't where they mainly operate. So yeah, he says, yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with their place down in Char Hollow. I want you to get in there and figure out who it is who's been getting them to come down and rough up my people. We're not doing any harm to nobody. We just want a fair deal from the city, from the merchants. That's all we're looking for.
I'm sorry. Were you asking us to do this, or were you telling us to do this? It felt very,
A little ornery.
Look,
yeah, a
It
little
sounded
bit,
like an
a
order.
little bit.
look, I'm a foreman, not a diplomat. If you're interested, let me know.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if you're no. I'm sorry, my esteemed friend here. He has a question first.
I was just going to ask how much money you were planning to pay for someone to do this job.
It's a good question. I like that.
Well, there's gee, I have to look at the payout rules here, but I think it's how much coin do you get from a job normally here? Score, payoff. Yeah, so I'll say this would be maybe a 6 coin job.
I mean,
So yeah, it sounds like you're talking about a. You got a specific person. It's not just like coming down from the Great Cloaks. You think there's someone outside of the organization who's having them come down here to night market and intrude on your territory?
Yeah, that group of thugs, they can run small-time protection rackets around town, but they're not going to take on the railjacks without a good reason. Some kind of backer who's putting them up to it. I want to know who that is, and I want the town to know who that is. And if you do something to sabotage their little shop down there in Char Hollow, well, there might be some extra coin in it for you.
If at some point I'm able to sort of move behind him, there's a point where he just can't quite see. I look at the two of them and just go.
You have a lot of encounters with the spirits, I sense.
Yeah, you could say that, and he like points to the scar on his face.
What do they tell you?
Tell me. Oh, they say all kinds of nonsense, but it's hard to hear when you're rocketing past them. One of those trains. I'm more in the getting from A to B sort of business rather than stopping and having a nice chat.
I have yet to be on one of these trains yet.
It's an experience.
So I've heard.
And basically, you just sit in the chair and just do this for like half an hour for the rest of your life. That's all it is really to it.
That doesn't sound all that exciting.
Not especially.
Maybe if you're interested in the spirits, you're always welcome to join me out on the outside, the exterior of the train. It tends to be a little bit more lively out there.
Oh, you don't say. Very interesting.
Can't guarantee you'll live, but
there's not a lot of situations in life where you can guarantee someone will live.
Yeah, you're right about that. So, how's it gonna be? You gonna do this thing? Or should I go looking for someone more affable?
Come on,
affable.
I think we're plenty affable.
I thought we're quite affable. You were commenting on our professional comedian abilities.
Not only are we excellent underworld like commandos, we also come with a wonderful sense of humor that should make your day brighter.
Well, you know what would really make my day brighter is seeing a look of shame and frustration on those damn gray cloaks.
I feel like you have a lot of hostility towards them, and it may be, perhaps well earned.
You might say that.
Well, gentlemen, I think I'm free for a couple of days. Yourselves?
Yeah, the business has been a little bit on the slow side, and the next big market isn't for another week or two, so I'm free.
Yeah,
and our friend here is independently wealthy, so he's always free.
I am always free to engage in charitable, well-paying charitable endeavors.
It's like, and he says, well, I can assure you that's just the kind of job this is. And he's gonna like go over to the shelves and pick out a figure of like a fox. Say, I'll take one of these. Hands over some coin and takes his leave.
Come back anytime.
Oh, I'll be back. He's gone.
Oh, and how should we get in touch with you?
And yeah, if you you maybe you just see like that he's left like a
calling card or something.
Not like a calling card, but just like a badge of the Railjacks on your counter. And it's like, just come to the train yards if you want to find him. That's where he's going to be working, right?
He got his badge. He can't exactly go back there without it. So,
all right.
What we don't know is he was recently fired.
Yeah, right. Well, the plot thickens. We'll see.
All right, so you just got to go to Charlo and find out who's who's getting the Grey Cloaks to do this stuff? I just thought they were looking at moving in on some turf, but that's an interesting little change of events.
Yeah, so I think that this might be moving into the gathering information stage, unless you have a approach in mind already. But I think maybe gathering information might be the way to go here.
I could probably go around to some of the bars, taverns, other people, just talk to people like I used to in the military. Drop my Dagger Isle accent so that that's not quite so. I don't see quite so hickish, and then head around and see what people might have heard.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this might be. So that could be. I think this might be. I don't know if this goes as far as an action roll. I think I might get you to just do a fortune roll with the consort action.
Yeah. Does my find disguise kit help on that? I'm trying to make myself look a little bit more like a member of the people there, looking like maybe a Grey Cloak. That at least might pass for a Grey Cloak if someone didn't know better.
Oh, sorry. So you're not going to talk to your military, like your ex-military people.
Oh no, my thing was like I just kind of go into the town itself, go into the area itself, kind of talk to people, spend a little time in bars, other places.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to disguise yourself as a Grey Cloak, you could definitely do that. I'll give you an extra die from that. Okay. So yeah, roll with consort, and we'll see what goes on there.
Okay, so position is.
It's not an action roll, so you're just rolling a fortune roll with the additional dice.
Does it give me effective additional die? Yes. Okay, got it. Oh, that's cool.
So how'd that turn out there?
5s and 6s are successes?
It's 4, 5, 6 is a success. Yeah.
Okay, so it's at the highest one you roll. I got a 5, a 2, a 3.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. 5 and 6 is sorry, I got it mixed up with Burning Wheel. That's right. Yeah, it's 5 is a success. Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. I have 1 success.
Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, I think you head down into it's this bar here. Yeah, Kellen's Bar. And this is a place that's one of the oldest pubs in the city, and it's full of Skovlander ales and whiskeys, and it's not necessarily a exclusively Grey Cloak haunt, but recently they've kind of been moving in here, and there's quite a few patrons who, well, they're not super happy about the Grey Cloaks moving in.
In that case, I'm coming in looking like a police officer who's like a blue cloak that's cloaked recently. So that they might know if I just show up like, hey, I'm one of you. Remember me at the meeting? But if I show up looking like a blue cloak who's recently quit, basically go up to the bar, slam down some coin, like strongest shit you got, and then I just kind of grumble about getting fired by my CO.
Okay. Yeah. So there's probably like you end up getting in a conversation with a couple Grey Cloaks who are at the bar, and they. I think what they might give you is an invitation to come down to their office, in the next couple days. You probably have a good session of drinking with them, and their office or their headquarters in this part of town is called the Doskval City Watch Officers Fraternal Society. Uh, so it's kind of unofficial, but it's maybe like they've got like a sign on the outside that's like it's got like a blue cap with a gray cloak on it. Um, so you have an opportunity to get in there under false pretenses if you need to. So
And I also asked one of them like, listen, not for nothing, but like, this is my family's around here. I was planning on we can afford some stuff around here, but I heard you guys are making moves on night market all the way across town.
Oh, okay. So you wanna know about this? All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're picking up and moving, like, I mean, guys, I'd love to be with some people who actually got their heads in the right spots. But if you're picking up and moving across town, I had a family, and my mother's sick. I gotta stay local.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this might be moving into an action roll here. If you want to get some additional information from them. So I think maybe this is this consort again? Sorry, you have to declare your action.
This is Sway. Sway, someone with charm, logic, seduction, disguise, or bluff. Okay. I also have the fine clothes and jewelry. So I don't know if I get a bonus from that.
I think that would not work to your advantage in this case, because you're saying like, oh I got to do something for my mother. It's like fine clothes and jewelry. Yeah,
well, it's got to do the theatrical stuff too. But risky, controlled, or desperate.
I say this would be risky standard.
Okay. Standard. Bonus dice. A 2 and a 5.
Okay. So that's a success. So standard effect. You're gonna go ahead and get that. Oops. So you get a standard effect. So you're trying to get some information about this, and so risky. You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. Okay. Yeah. So I think what they say is you can. So you've heard about this. You've heard about what we're doing down there by the rail yards, eh?
My brother lives out by night market, saying things used to be kind of quiet, but lately there's been some scuffles between you guys and the rail jacks.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, if you're looking for some work, we're heading down there tonight, and we could use some extra muscle.
Well, shit, I think I need to get you guys a drink and maybe celebrate the money that we're going to be making. What do you need?
Well, we're looking for muscle. We're looking to rough some people up. Show him who's boss.
You ain't got no sort of regulations. You got some kind of paperwork. I could kiss you guys.
And he just like slaps you on the shoulder. He's like, hey, it's just like we used to do in the Blue Cloaks, except we get to do what we like this time, right?
Yeah, I got nobody looking out like, oh, a noble's pissed off. You can just do what you got. Oh my god! Like seriously, you thank your stars every day that you left?
Yeah. I gotta say, recently business has been good. So you come with me, and let's do this thing. So
Sounds good.
Finish your drink, head out there, and so you kind of been caught up in this raiding party. So I want to see what the rest of the crew is doing here. In the meantime, What do you think you've been doing to gather information or prep for this job?
I sense that Forget Me Not is probably. I think I might talk to Flynn and see if Flint, excuse me, if Flint happens to have any knowledge of um actually no, that feels like the wrong place to go actually. Yeah, I think I probably need to be figuring out, is there some sort of I don't know, what you call it? Who do these gray cloaks or who do like kind of blue cloaks even kind of do they have like a patron saint or some sort of kind of being who they kind of pay some sort of homage to or something that I might be able to consort with?
That's a good that's a good question. Yeah, I think maybe. So my impression of the way that religion works in this setting is that it's kind of like there's the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, right? That's the main religious organization, but it's kind of like anti spirits, right? It's
Right.
like it's about like creating this sort of official church that keeps people away from ghosts. So if there was something like that, I feel like it would be kind of like an unofficial cult.
Sure.
And gee, what could that be? What kind of spirit or what kind of ancient deity do you think would be worshipped by blue cloaks? I imagine it'd be something like thuggish or just like something that like would be kind of like a basic spirit of like good fortune. It could be some kind of like maybe I don't know, like a bull spirit or something like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So there's maybe like a kind of place that like most people don't know about, but if you're a blue cloak, you know about it, and if you're kind of involved in this scene, you would know about it. And I think maybe that's more sort of in the city center.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what do you want to do if you go there?
I mean, I think is this I guess is this some sort of spirit who I would have had any prior connection with? Probably not, I guess.
Uh,
Seems
Seems kind of unlikely.
yeah.
Because let's see. So you're well.
Here's a
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I don't see that being the case. Yeah.
Have I had any blue cloaks or similar purchase like bulls from me?
Yeah, I could totally see that. Absolutely.
And maybe I feel like I might be able to kind of um, get in some way to that spirit that way
Hmm.
somehow.
Yeah, yeah. You maybe you noticed that this was like a popular purchase among the blue cloaks, and maybe the bull figure that you have, you can start to kind of use it as a totem. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're trying to commune with this spirit is what you're
Yeah.
doing. Okay.
Yeah. I want to. Yeah, I want to see if I can kind of see if any of these gray cloaks have been kind of like telling it somehow what they've been doing and why they've been
Mm,
doing it, as it
mm-hmm.
were.
Okay, cool. So what action do you want to use here?
This I forgot if this is a tune or consort.
My personal hunch would be a tune because you only have this figure and you need to kind of get
Yeah.
in touch with the spirit.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess it'd be a tune then.
All right. So is there anything you could do to kind of increase your odds of success here? Because I'm feeling like the situation you're in right now is probably uh like risky limited.
Okay.
Um,
Um, I wonder if there's somehow, I don't know, bringing in like a spirit of maybe like acquiring a spirit from Flint or something like that might be able to give me a little more extra oomph, as it
mm,
were,
okay,
somehow.
sure. Yeah. All right. So maybe we just want to do a fortune roll there to see how
Sure.
effective that is, and
Yeah.
you can probably add in your consort, uh, and
Okay.
maybe take an extra die because Flint's like your ally, right?
Sure. So am I just clicking on roll fortune?
Yeah, and then you add the number of bonus die that would be your consort rating plus one.
All right. So 2 + 1 would be 3. Roll fortune. Number of dice 3. Submit. Any notes? No.
All right.
154.
Okay, so you got a five. So yeah. Tell me how this spirit will increase the effectiveness of what you're doing.
I mean, my sense is that Flint was able to provide me with probably um, maybe the spirit of a dead blue cloak, or
Oh
maybe even
yeah.
gray cloak, or something like that. Someone
Mm-hmm.
who uh, died someplace and wasn't found for long enough that like their spirit just kind of went off, and Flint was able to acquire it at some point. And I feel like I'm being able to kind of use this spirit kind of like as a through way to this bull totem, that I'm able to kind of attune with it a little bit better and to kind of connect with it and to um, kind of hear what the gray cloaks or blue cloaks, hopefully involved with what we're talking about here, are telling this, are
Mm-hmm.
whispering to these.
Yeah, it's kind of like
This
they're already
spirit.
acquainted, right? Um,
Right.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think you can upgrade this to risky standard and
Okay.
try to roll with a tune.
All right. So tune, risky, standard. No bonus dice, I assume.
No, don't think so.
Okay. All right. 6 and a 2.
All right, so you got a six. All right, so on a risky with a six, you do it. Yeah, so I think it's like tell me what kind of what does your space look like that you do a tuning in?
I think that this is. Uh, I think there's likely a basement level
Mm-hmm.
of the shop that I've kind of prepared for this. I don't think it's anything particularly special. I think the only thing, it's a very empty space, and intentionally there's no light whatsoever. Any type of, if there were any windows or something like that, they've been completely covered up. So it's kind of like just, it's pitch darkness. Even like even the trapdoor or whatever it is that comes down, like, has been sealed against light. And I think it's entirely just, I bring candle down to find my spot there, and I think I just kind of like blow out the candle, and kind of as soon as I do that, I feel like there's this kind of like a humming sound kind of starts to go. I think there's like kind of this vibration that once the light goes out of this place, that it just starts this vibration, and slowly but surely the vibration kind of like swerves and sways into like the voice of whomever it is that I'm kind of trying to connect with.
Yeah. So I think it's like the blue cloak spirit that you have acquired starts to call out desperately to this spirit. Its spirit's name is Talum, and the spirit hears the voice of the blue cloak and says, "You have summoned me, but you are already lost. Who is this living thing that is still with you?"
I am one who is trying to learn of those of your flock that have gone astray and have gone awry. You are the one who protects those who do right and who protect the those without power in this land. But there are those who have left your flock and who are doing wrong by you and those who call you their patron. And I am trying to find out who it is who is swaying those lost of your flock to do this dirty work that they do.
All right, so I think you're okay. So you're trying to kind of like flatter this spirit into giving you some information. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So what action are you using to do this?
Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out if this. Let me find that list here.
There's also a handout I have on Roll20 that has the score rules on it, and that has the list on there.
Awesome. Score rules. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the version in the book. I guess this is. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess this counts as sway, doesn't it?
I think it's probably sway, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's either sway or consort, but I don't know this spirit particularly well, so I don't think it's going to count as consort.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be sway, which is not something that I'm particularly good at.
Okay.
That's
okay. I will say. Yeah, I think this is risky standard. I don't think you're in a desperate position.
Okay. But to get anything, I assume I need. I probably need to spend some stress.
You can give yourself +1 by spending 2 stress. You can take a deal with the devil if someone wants to suggest one. or someone can give you a die. But I don't think they're present in this scene, so that might not make sense fictionally. So yeah, you can spend 2 stress to get a +1, or you can ask for a deal with the devil.
I'll go ahead and spend some stress. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's here, push yourself. Okay, good. All right. Where's my stress track? Stress 1, 2. All right. That gives me 1 die. All right.
All right.
If I could possibly go wrong.
You're not doing the disadvantage roll, so that's good.
Yeah. So risky and standard, you said?
Yeah, risky, standard, yeah.
All right, and bonus dice is 1 because I have that now. Right. How'd I do? 2, 3. Wah, wah.
Okay. All right. So we got our first bad outcome here. So things go badly. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You end up in a desperate position. You lose this opportunity. Yeah. So I think Artaloom is just like, I see you, small thing. You don't understand what it is that my followers do. You're just speaking sweet words. And I think that Artaloom is going to kind of like manifest ectoplasmic form, and they're going to look down at you and say, your presumption will cost you. And they actually just go like charging up the stairs, and you just hear them smashing the shit out of your shop.
Fuck.
It's bull in a china shop, right?
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
So yeah, you go up, and there's these kind of like trails of ectoplasm that are like hanging in the air, and you can see that this
broken windows, broken
bowl-shaped cloud
cabinets.
of it has kind of dissipated down the street. Yeah, so maybe I could see this maybe costing you a coin. Yeah. All right. So, them's the breaks.
I don't have any coin at the moment, but you know.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it in that case, I don't think this is a condition or anything you're taking. I think this is just fictional positioning. It might come back to you in the future.
Could be stress.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the GM can ask you to do that, though. You only take stress if you resist the outcome.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I could resist.
you could resist that outcome, and we just redo the scene. That's how that works.
Nah, I mean, why don't we go with what you have?
All right. Okay. Okay. So, Dr. Thorne, have you been doing anything to prep for this job?
I'm kind of torn on whether I should go talk to my contact in the Blue Coats, and I think that's my crew should maybe give me some advice. Do I go talk to my contact in the Blue Coats, or I just go survey the headquarters that we're about to break into?
Yeah.
Because I have a Blue Coat contact, and it strikes me they might have several pieces of information.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be useful.
Yeah, Blue Coats could be good.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so your contact here is Darmot.
Darmot.
All right, so how do you know Darmot?
I think I know Darmot through the Silver Swan, which is also how I may have come between him and Rosalind Kellis, my enemy. So we have a we have a hobbyist relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm gonna. There's a limited number of ways I would approach him at work, but if he's off duty, um, if he's off duty, I can approach him pretty openly.
Yeah.
If he's on duty, I'd probably want to send a message to him to meet me somewhere.
Well, why don't we just get you meeting at the Silver Swan?
Okay.
So do you think you have like a relationship with Darmit? Like is like he like the dom to your sub kind of situation here?
I think we have a more of a friendly relationship between. Oh yeah, I think no. I may have done submissive work for him before.
Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, no, I think no. I think we're both submissives because blue coated day.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so the Silver Swan, I'm taking the idea that it's basically a more sort of upper class establishment. Is that correct?
Right. I think that was the implication, that it was slightly more upscale.
Yeah. So he's
More
maybe
discreet.
like a higher up member of the Bluecoats, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Who can afford to frequent a place like this. And it's like you said it was like a barge or something that's like floating down.
I believe it's sort of a barge,
the
but it could be
canals
very wrong.
of
It's been a while since I read the whole Dustfall.
It's a pleasure barge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so we find you on the Silver Swan with Darmit. Maybe you're drinking together. And we there are these all these sort of scenes of it's well lit, warmly lit inside, and there are people working there who are in they're scantily clad and young beautiful people walking back and forth, and we can hear sort of the sounds of glasses, and we can see the sights of various drugs being smoked and imbibed, and sounds from the background, and some music being played, and this kind of thing. So, what exactly do you want to know from Darmit?
I think I just want to know that several former Bluecoats have been very, very naughty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may have heard of them, the Grey Cloaks.
Oh yeah, the Grey Cloaks. What a joke. Just a bunch of washed out losers. In my day, we never would have let a group like that fester in the middle of the city if I was down there on the beat instead of pushing papers.
I was wondering what you knew about people who might be hiring the Grey Cloaks recently. I mean, I know they do some of their own work, but I've heard tell they have a patron, somebody who has them busily working in the night market.
Night market.
Night market, where I live.
Yes, of course. I've heard a thing or two that they've been causing some trouble down there. Who exactly was it that they were fighting with? Was it the Railjacks?
Well, we can't just let any group of public servants unionize, of course.
Exactly.
So
and
we might,
and I think you're gonna. I think this is gonna be difficult for you to pull off to get this information because basically even though he doesn't like the gray cloaks, it kind of cancels out because they're basically like doing something the blue cloaks would do anyway, right? Like they're like preventing a unionization effort among the Railjacks is not really contrary to the aims of the blue cloaks. So if he's gonna out someone as being like a powerful person as being involved in this situation, it's going to be a little bit of a risk for him. So I think what approach are you going to use, or what action are you going to use to do this?
I'm not really good at any of the consort or sway actions.
Mm-hmm. You can be creative if you want to.
Talk with your fist. Convince him.
Not really good at that either. Yeah, no.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking of using finesse to all of a sudden as we're talking, just sort of reclining on a sofa, I suddenly have him in handcuffs.
Very good. So maybe this is this a totally public setting you're in, or is this a more private?
I think this is a more like it's not a, to the extent it was public, no one would necessarily blink an eye at somebody being in handcuffs.
Right. Sure. Of course. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to hide the fact that he's in handcuffs from him for an extended period of time.
Okay, so let's roll this then. So,
all right,
I would say that, yeah, this would be risky. Would having him in handcuffs. Yeah,
this would be his handcuffs, which he's not supposed to use for.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. So let's say this is risky. Great.
It's more of a guideline than a rule.
Yeah.
And if you have a good devil's bargain, I'm willing to accept it.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, the table can also suggest devil's bargains. I think so. Devil's bargain. If okay, so you're not.
I mean, one thing that one thing that's going on here that's different is that if you're normally like a sub or something like that, you're now doing something kind of like not subby, right?
Right.
I don't know if that's going to throw things off or anyone's going to care, but like that seems interesting to me at least.
Yes.
Right.
So maybe this is a complication that you get involved with at the Silver Swan itself. That your like basically your access to your vice is compromised.
Okay.
Because you're kind of going against your reputation there, and maybe people are gonna see that, and so you may need to do something extra in order to get back to the way things normally are there.
You're pissing off the person who normally
yes,
guy, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So let's get the name of this person. Who is the usual dom for Darmit?
Oh, I need that list of names.
Luckily, you can find that.
So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't upload that one. I have it here, but
I have it here. I just moving around in PDFs is
page 56. Adric, Crowell, Cameron, Mara, Marcus.
I kind of like they. It seems very. It seems very ambiguous.
Okay. They.
They. If
Yes.
that's
All right. So they. So they. Do you think that they is an employee of the Silver Swan, or are they just a patron?
If I could toss a
um.
possibility,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Shane.
I was just going to toss out. Maybe the reason why you know each other is because you have the same dog.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think that's why I have the enemy I have is because I broke Darmot up with his previous dom, and got them under Vey.
Okay. Okay. I like this. I like this. This is good. Yeah. And
Bay is definitely going to see this.
yeah, they will remember this, and also they may have some kind of other factional affiliations we might discover in the future here, if they're not just a patron or sorry, an employee here. So we'll see
Yeah, I
how
was
that.
thinking Vey has a stable of submissives
Mm,
that they know through the Silver Swan.
right, right. So they yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so
Yeah.
take your extra bonus die.
You know, 1, 1, and 4. Thank God I took
Okay.
that bonus die.
So it's a risky great. Um, so 4 you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. Um, yeah, and I think what it is that you have Dormant in this compromised position, and he kind of sees what's up, but he also sees Vey giving you the look, and he's kind of it puts him in a little bit of a bind. So I think you're gonna have maybe
So to speak.
I think this is reduced effect. So you're just gonna have a standard effect here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um,
What would be the standard effect? I'm sorry.
yeah. So I think like instead of getting really amazing information out of him, which you could have on a success on a great,
Right. Okay.
you're gonna get more kind of average, you know, information that not necessarily everybody would know, but not like the real dirt that you get from someone who's well connected.
So instead of a name, maybe you'll get like an idea of who the person is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Something
Right.
like that.
Okay.
Or a type of group instead of like the actual name or group of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I think what this is going to be is like, he's kind of squirming a bit and says, huh, all right. Look, you got me. Yeah, I know a thing or two about what's going on down there. There's been word traveling around the corridors of power, so to speak. We'll just say there's some well-connected merchants who really don't want to see those railjacks unionize. And if you look in that direction, there might be some useful insights you could gather.
Merchants.
Yeah. Look, do I have to spell it out for you? It's just think of honey, hives.
The Honey Nut Cheerios beat.
Thinking of honey and hives, I can be so naive.
Yeah, so he's gesturing to the hive as the brains behind this operation, or the force behind this operation.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's gonna. I think that's very valuable information for your operation, because
Yeah.
you're kind of halfway to what you're supposed to provide your employer already, right? All you
Right.
need is proof now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's close up this kind of legwork here with Michael. Let's see what you get up to down at the rail yards here. So I think what you're actually doing here is like a sub score, or like a setup score.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna get you, as long as you're willing to go along with what the Grey Cloaks are doing. Like if you want to ditch out on them, you can try to do that.
No, I should go with them so I can get close.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do this then. So we're gonna do an engagement roll. Um, I think that let's see here. Yeah. So I think this is assault. Do violence to a target, and you just need to give me the point of attack that you have to take on these railjacks.
So, what specifically are they just attacking a group of them?
Yeah, you're just gonna go rough some up.
Okay. What my suggestions, and then I see them, I'm like, okay, listen. A couple things I'm pretty good at. I can kind of get in the middle of them and basically surprise them. And when they're dealing with what they think is a drunk asshole,
Mm-hmm.
they're not looking anywhere else. You can swoop in on them while their attention's on me.
Okay, so you're gonna provide a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Basically, kind of like stuff like have my cane with a sword in it. Pretend I'm just hammered. Kind of come through the thing, and like if I bump into them and be like, "Hey, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea who you just bumped into? Yeah, Mister Railway Worker.
Yeah. Okay.
I happen to know."
I'm into it. And I think this is kind of like the railjacks are basically having like a organizing meeting, right? Like that's what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're doing it like in a tavern somewhere down in the night market. And yeah, you're gonna kind of like bust in there and make
But
a distraction.
if they're in the tavern, I can then walk by with some drinks
Mm-hmm.
and spill them on them,
Okay.
and just be like, "Excuse me, are you gonna pay for that drink?" And I'm all decked out, so I'm like the nice clothes. I look like I'm someone with a lot of money.
Okay.
And I go, look where did you even look where you're going?
All
Did
right.
you?
Okay, so let's do the engagement roll then. I think this is a good approach. So the point of attack is basically going to be you making the distraction, and then them coming in and hitting the distracted people.
Yeah.
All right, so so you can choose your loadout for the job. You can take light load, or
I've already disguised myself, so I don't think I'd probably.
so you're probably light. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have my sword cane, a pistol, and probably a blade if I get close. I think one other thing. Yeah, I think I'll just take. I'll take a blade in case I can't get to the cane sword. If I get in too close, I can pull it out and it's hidden. Then I've got like my trance powder, which is probably takes. I probably can't just throw in someone's face. I'm guessing that probably needs a little bit more of a like you put it to someone you've already kind of got.
Yeah, so you can decide what you have during the score.
Yeah.
You don't have to
use my cane sword. So if someone gets in my face, and the attack starts, I can basically grab the cane that they're arguing with and then put it by their neck.
Yeah.
So they've got the sword there, and at that point, and then it's clear I'm not drunk, so that I seem a lot more dangerous than I actually am.
Yeah, like intimidate them. Cool. Okay, so we'll go through the engagement roll. You start with 1d, and we'll go through the major advantages, disadvantages. So, is this operation particularly bold or daring? Take plus 1d. Sure, go for it. Take a bonus die for that.
All right.
Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? No. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I wouldn't say so, no. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? No. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Take plus 1d.
Would the Grey Cloaks count for that?
I think in this case, the Grey Cloaks would count, so you can take plus 1d there. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? No. Are there any other elements you want to consider? Maybe lower tier target will give you plus 1d. Maybe higher tier target will give you minus 1d. So, I think we're basically thinking about you operating for the Grey Cloaks, so that means that they're on equal tier. So the tier doesn't factor in. So go ahead and roll.
Is that a fortune roll?
It is a fortune roll, yep.
Okay, so we're taking 3 dice.
Yeah. So it's 1 plus the others you got. So,
2 more.
So you had bold and daring, and you see it's 3 die. Yep, 3 die.
Oh, that didn't go well.
Uh-oh. All right. Okay, so if you get a bad result, you're in a desperate position when the action starts. So I think you'd go up to them, and you try to sort of distract them, right? But here's the thing: is they've been tipped off. They had someone at the door watching for the Grey Cloaks, and now you're in a desperate position because they pretty much just grab you, and they're trying to pull you into a back room while the other ones like start to pull out like clubs, and they're getting ready to rumble with the Grey Cloaks.
So what was the guy's name who hired us?
The guy's name who hired you? With the Railjacks?
With the Railjacks.
Aldo.
Okay. So they drag me into the back room. The moment we're starting the back room,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, good. Aldo hired me to try to see what I can get from the Grey Cloaks. Hit me a few times, make it look like I've been hurt. That way, when we get thrown out, they're going to believe I'm with them, and I can get more information.
Okay. So let's do an action roll here. So you're starting from a desperate position, and I think I think this is that does definitely improve your position. So I'll say let's say risky great effect you could get here. Yeah.
Okay. So sway.
Yeah.
Risky. And I also tell them I'm like, I taken my guy, let the doorman know. Or let someone know that we're coming, right? Because you were on top of that. So tell Aldo I'm impressed. Make sure you hit me if you've done. Yeah. 2 6s.
Oh, nice! You crit.
But make sure it looks good when you hit me. But don't hurt me too bad, okay? But tell Aldo we've got some leads.
Yeah. So you end up I think what you get on a crit here, you get extreme effect, right? So I think we're just gonna play out the scene to see how this ends up resulting. Uh, I think that what we see is that the guy who pulled you back there and is going to rough you up, he's actually a former boxer. So he knows how to throw a punch, and he basically, he roughs you up just the right amount, so it looks convincing. But you aren't really like you're not going to suffer conditions or harm, really. Yeah. So I think the thing you get there is you get to avoid taking harm.
Okay. Was it a desperate one that I rolled, or
It was risky great because I upgraded from
that's
desperate
right, yeah.
because your fictional positioning of having known Aldo.
okay?
Um,
Yeah, I
so
was unfortunate.
and I think then they kind of like just the boxer who's taken you just kind of like throws you back out into the front room, and there's like this brawl going down. And you manage to sort of insinuate yourself into the melee without actually having to really crack any heads, and you come out of it looking like you've really worked on the Grey Cloak's side. But also the Railjacks know that you're a double agent, right?
I try to pull some. I try to pull some of the gray cloaks out if it's looking like it's getting bad.
Yeah. So I think what the benefit is you get out of this score is like you basically perform like a setup maneuver that is gonna improve your fictional positioning going into the main score, because you're in good with the Grey Cloaks. Like they actually trust you because you fought with them, and you've taken your hits. All right, so shall we move on to the actual score here?
All right.
All right. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to go through another engagement roll right now. So once again, you're going to tell me what your type of plan is and what the detail is you're going to use.
What sounds good to you guys?
I would need to look at the doc for that.
It's page 127 in the book.
It's also on the character sheet.
Ah,
So occult, deception, social, stealth, and transport.
well, I mean, so what do we? So we're still trying to get information, right? I mean, and
You need to get proof, right? Because you have information, right? You already have information, but you need to get proof, and you know exactly what you're looking for now because Dr. Thorne already figured out like who the employer is. You just need something to expose them.
I mean, this feels probably somewhere. I mean, feels deception, social, or stealth. It doesn't really feel like assault. Doesn't feel like a cult. Doesn't really feel like transport.
I mean, I feel like you can actually run like any of these except for transport, but it's really up to you for how you want to do it.
You two, I might be able to get a way for you guys to get in while I'm talking with some of the people about some jobs or something there. And maybe find a way to let you two in so you can kind of search around.
So that's maybe a social.
Or
Social
deception.
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 Either-
Yeah. Sorry, deception. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. That sounds good to me. All right. So deception, and the detail is that. Sorry.
The method of deception.
Yeah, the details, the method of deception. So I guess like Valeris, you're going to be kind of fast talking the Grey Cloaks, using your contacts to get them in.
I also want to find a decent, like a couple bottles of strong, like wine or something, like some strong alcohol to bring in. I don't know if I could actually.
Yeah.
Could I dose that with a trance powder?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Bring some of that. Basically, it's like come in like
this is something we'll do in a flashback once we do the engagement roll.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll the engagement roll. So once again, we're going to go through this. First thing, you need to decide your loadouts. So how is everybody going to go for your load? You don't need to decide what you're bringing with you, just how heavy your load is.
I'm going light.
Yeah, I feel like I would probably go light too. I feel like this is one of those kind of, if it gets sticky, we're going to want to get out pretty fucking fast.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking, Richard? You're muted.
Yeah, I was thinking light as well.
Okay.
Because it's a little more. It's also a little more conspicuous.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's go through the questions. So is this operation particularly bold or daring? I don't think so. Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so either. So I think that's a wash. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Yes, I think so, because you have that contact you've already established. So take 1 die for that. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? No. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? So we're going to count that as basically Richard's previous setup thing, so I think you can take an extra die there. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? No. Are there any other elements such as tier? So yeah, you will take you'll take -1 die because they're higher tier than you.
Okay.
So I believe that means you're rolling with 2 dice. So who wants to be the fortune caster here?
Who hasn't rolled yet? Who hasn't rolled?
We've all rolled.
Yeah, I think we've all rolled, yeah. Or you've all rolled. I'm not rolling.
I've rolled several times if someone else wants to grab it.
Why don't you go for it, Richard?
So what do we roll for an engagement?
It's a fortune roll.
Okay.
And you're rolling 1d plus 1 another d. Yeah.
All right. 1 second. And where on the character sheet is that fortune? There we go. Roll fortune 1d plus 1, so 2d.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Okay. All right. Man, these engagement rolls aren't treating you guys very well. So you're in a desperate position. So I think you come into the the Officers Fraternal Society, and you know they see Valeris come in, and you know they see you come in, Valeris, and they're like, "Oh, hey!" And then they see your friends come in, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Well, I wasn't going to bring them directly. I was going to try to find a way to open a door or something for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think they would let me bring them in. I was going to find a way to let them in once I'm in.
Okay, so maybe what it is that uh, I think you come in and they're gonna try to drag you off to do a bit of a hazing on you, because they're like, oh yeah, you've shown your worth, like you're gonna come in, join the team, but there's a little something you got to do first, right? So um, yeah, so I think they're trying to drag you into the back. Uh, so what do you do? You can do a flashback here, or you can try to make an action.
Okay. Um, well, I don't know if this is the flashback thing, but I've got like 2 bottles of liquor
Mm-hmm.
that I've dosed with the trance powder,
Mm-hmm.
and what I want to do is come in. And we've already scouted out like a door that's sort of maybe off of the main room
Okay.
that I can. We have us all take a drink first. I tell them it's pretty strong. My stomach's not good on this, so I go out there to throw up,
Uh huh.
and then put something so basically so it's not going to close, so they can keep it open and sneak their way in.
Okay. So I think you're gonna want to spend maybe. No, I don't think you need to spend stress to do that because you have the materials to do that already. So you just declare that flashback.
Mhm.
And so I think what you're going to have to do here is make an action roll to deceive them because you're not actually going to go throw up out there, right?
No, I'm basically gonna be like, it's a like they're gonna tell you this is very strong. My brother always says, "You take it." I vomit almost every time, but it tastes sweet. It tastes good. It just hits me wrong, and it just kind of like I'm gonna like then do what you want, take a drink, and then I'll. If they're trying to take me someplace, I'll go and run to the door and just
Yeah.
out there, and then basically like with a rock or something, so it doesn't completely close,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be like out there so they can then sneak their way in.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, why don't you, so what action are you going to use to try to
That
do
sounds
this?
like probably sounds like sway, I guess. If I'm trying to trick them.
Okay. Okay, so I think you have this item that will kind of help to distract them a little bit. So I think you're probably in risky. Maybe. Let's say risky standard. Yeah.
Okay. Two to five.
Okay. So, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. I do hear that. What's that sound? There's a clicking sound. Um,
Stop now.
I don't know. Anyway, so I think you manage to do the thing, right? You do get out there, and you go to throw up outside. Leave the door or leave the rock in the door. But what you notice is that there's actually a gray cloak out in the alley. He's already throwing up out there. So, if someone else wants to jump in with a flashback telling us how you set up to deal with this eventuality, then we could go ahead and do that.
I think any of it are any of us sort of brutes.
I don't think so, but there's probably some other ways you could deal with this, right? So the situation is that Valeris has gone out into the alleyway to pretend to throw up and open the door for you. Jam a rock in the door, leave it ajar so you guys can sneak in. However, there's a gray cloak who is already out there in the alleyway throwing up from having drunk too much. Can you think of some kind of flashback that you could do in order to say, "Oh, I prepared for this. I did something to prevent this from happening."
One of you two able to be there and do something?
And I'm not
I think.
trying to
Go
think
ahead,
of
Abhishek.
I could I'm not coming up with any ideas of what I could have done previously. I feel like maybe the lurk kind of could have seen the person come out beforehand and
Maybe thinking it was me, and then saw, oh shit, there's someone else.
yeah,
like you
probably.
could have been on watch.
I think I could have been sort of already in the near the alley, sort of watching for our what you call it, the signal that you're going to give us that the door's open, and saw somebody else sort of come out. That's gonna cause a problem.
Yeah. So
I
what
just
would
can't think of what the thing would do. We would do, that would not potentially up the. And I'm sorry for the sounds of New York City in the background.
That's okay.
I mean, it could be as simple as just taking the guy to like get some water or something, and so he's
Yeah.
Or maybe even using him to bring him inside because he's throwing up and having a rough time.
Or maybe knock him out, just in that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, like something I could do to sort of like knock him out so that he just goes straight down.
Yeah.
And looks passed out. So I can knock him out. I can, take the hilt of a dagger and club him on the back of the head.
Okay, so
he's just sort of flat on his belly in the gutter.
So let's do an action for that, action roll for that. I think the rating you're rolling with here, what would it be? Probably.
I was hoping for prowl. 1 second.
Yeah, ambush with close violence. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Attack from hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say your position here is controlled standard.
Okay. Now, am I bypassing a security measure? Because I am not affected by quality or tier when I bypass a security measure.
I wouldn't say you are, because this is outside of their building.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And I think tier is not really a factor here because okay. Yeah, I don't think tier is necessarily a factor here because this guy's isolated.
Okay.
So yeah.
And standard, correct?
Yep. It's controlled standard.
Oh man, I cannot roll dice tonight.
Okay. All right. That's rough. All right. So yeah. So on a controlled roll, if you get a 1 to 3, you falter. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity or withdraw and try a different approach. So yeah. So I think what it is like you move up to like this guy's like standing there. He's like looking sick. He's just thrown up. You move up to hit him over the back of the head with the hilt of your dagger, and he just suddenly like doubles over and vomits, and you go like way over top of him with your swing, and now you're like right up in his face, and he's just about to stand up again. What do you do?
I think I'm not going to try a different approach. I think I'm going to come back, and it's a risky opportunity now.
Yeah, you can take a risky opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's gonna be risky, so I'm gonna just try that again, but with a really quick side swipe to the side of the head.
Okay. So
Uh,
I think this is probably no longer prowl. This is probably you're probably rolling then with um, well, if it's
you
gonna,
still can't see me.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's ambush with close. He still can't see you. That's true. Yeah, I think. Okay, yeah, it's just risky. Risky standard. Go for it.
Okay. And I'm going to take stress.
Okay. 2 stress for 1 die.
What? I don't know. I honestly don't know how that happened. Like crap. Do you want me to just re-roll
Yeah,
that,
just
or?
just just re-roll it. Just re-roll it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's something.
yeah. I was like, that's not work, right? All right, 1 second. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh,
Fuck.
oh no! Do you want to resist the outcome?
What
All
does
those
resistance
fives.
do?
So a resistance roll. And let's see if they have a quick description here. I can just pull up. Yeah, so you reduce or avoid the consequence and take 6 stress minus your highest die result. When you roll a critical on a resistance, you clear 1 stress. So I would say what's going to happen if you don't resist it is he's just going to, you're going to come to strike him, and he's going to see the hand coming for him and just bowl it over into you, and you'll both go flying to the ground. Yeah, and probably end up in some kind of like fist fight. So
Okay.
you have the option to resist, or you can take that consequence, and we'll continue from there.
How do I roll resistance?
Is there a resistance roll button you can press on the sheet?
Yeah, yeah, no, but yeah. Okay, yeah. So what am I resisting with? Prowess?
Right. Good question. I think this would be prowess. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you only suffer 1 stress. Yeah. So what it means is that I believe this implies that you get what you wanted. So you do hit the guy on the side of the head. He goes down, and I guess you're gonna like drag him out of the way.
Right.
Yeah. So we probably see Dr. Thorne like dragging this guy out of the way as the door opens, and then we see Valeris come out, mime the vomit, put the stone down, and then like we see Dr. Thorne like see the door close partially. Okay, so yeah, Forget Me Not. What do you think you're up to here?
I mean, I sense I'm outside. I'm outside waiting for this door to open as well.
So
right?
yeah, so we see it open. It's ajar now. What are you gonna do? And like maybe unless you want to resist this here, or do something different, like Reaper, I think you're getting kind of like dragged into the back for your hazing at this point. Are you going along with that?
Yeah, I'm going along. It'll be probably during the thing. I've got something up my sleeve for later.
Okay, so yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, the other two of you have an opportunity now to do something. What are you gonna do?
Could I? Would it make sense to do some sort of flashback with regards to my maybe consorting with a spirit of some sort to like find specifically where we want to be going
Yeah,
here.
sure. I think if you want to do that, you're probably gonna have to spend 2 stress to do that flashback.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
I will.
introducing a new character into the situation we hadn't established before. So
Okay. Um, want to be done.
I could definitely see it getting you into a more like controlled position, though.
Yeah. I mean, so let me just roll back and get a bigger picture. So we are at the Grey Cloaks kind of like hideout area and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, we are trying to do what exactly?
So you're trying to get proof of their connection to the hive, right?
Okay.
That you can disclose publicly, and also you will get paid extra if you do something to sabotage or rough up their building here.
Rough up or sabotage the building. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd probably be in this similar circumstance as the previous one. If I'm, I feel like I'd probably just be trying to. I think I probably would have gotten another like blue coat or gray coat, spirit or something like that in order to like kind of get information out of them as to where.
Okay, you're gonna like try to interrogate a gray cloak spirit.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah. So all right. Okay, so I think first of all, I'm gonna want like a fortune roll from you, just to see how successful you are in procuring this.
Okay.
And I think it's probably just a straight fortune roll, unless there's something you can think of that would give you an edge on this.
I mean, outside of having Flint as a friend.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you could take a bonus die for that for sure.
Okay. Um, yeah, let's go with that. So roll fortune, 2 dice, no notes. Got a 4.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I think you managed to get one. You don't have any coin right now, right? Yeah, so I think you get one, but you're gonna owe Flint. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to do something for him down the road. You owe him a favor.
I already, I'm sure I'm already gonna owe him money because that bowl in the china shop just wrecked the fuck out of it. So any
Yeah,
money that I'm making out of this is just going right to him.
yeah. Okay, so now I just want you to do like well I can't call it out for you, but like basically you can do it in a tune at this point. Like I'm not supposed to call these actions for you,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
yeah,
tune would have been what I was gonna say.
yeah.
So I guess it's just a straight attune, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a tune. Probably at this point, I'd say this is not a greater spirit or anything. So I'd say this is controlled standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So controlled. Standard bonus dice. No. Fours.
You got a 4.
Yep.
Okay. So this means that you hesitate, withdraw, and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. A minor complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You suffer lesser harm. You end up in a risky position. Um, yeah. So I think you summon up this gray cloak, um, and the complication you run into here is that he tells you like basically he tells you like where the room is that they hide their documents. He tells you like how you can get there. However, um I think maybe you're I think maybe the attunement gets a little bit out of control, and you're gonna suffer a harm here. Um, so you have to write in your harm box like exactly what kind of harm you suffer, and I think this is up to you to decide. It's not me
Yeah.
to decide. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's probably gonna like kind of. I think it's gonna partially throw off my hearing a little bit because I think
Mm.
previously like, said that there's some kind of like soundish type thing that I seem to be down with. I feel like it probably either kind of like screws
Yeah.
up with my hearing or maybe my balance a little bit.
Maybe
So
when the,
probably
the, the attunement ended, like the spirit disappeared, but it was like this kind of like shockwave. There was like this deafening like pop sound.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe I have like tinnitus or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you put that in your minor harm, and that means that you also. Uh, oops. Yeah, you also get less effect, right? That's the consequence of taking harm.
Yep.
Um, okay, cool. So you have you know the route. You know where you need to go. You know what you're looking for. Um, how are you gonna get up there? How are you gonna go for this?
Well, if only prowl was something that I could do.
Well, you can do a group action, right?
Oh,
If you both want to go together, the you can both roll for it, and then whoever gets the highest result is gets the result for both of you.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, doctor.
And only one of you has to die to do
The downside is the group leader takes a stress for every 1 to 3 rolled, or every person in the group who rolls a 1 to 3. Yeah. So that's how this works.
And by group leader, I think that I assume that means the person who rolls.
Both people have to roll. It's just one of you
Oh, okay.
decides to be the group leader. Like
Got
your role has like as the group leader, your role has no special influence. It's just whoever's going to take the stress burden. That's all that this is.
Right. I'll handle the stress burden. How
Yeah.
does the rolling work when we're collaborating?
So you just
Okay.
basically both do an action roll with the same action, and the
Okay.
same position and effect.
So I
Uh,
sense prowl, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a prowl.
Okay.
And I think this is um yeah, I think that Reaper has kind of taken most of the people out of the ground floor here. Um and I'd say because you're lower tier than them, you'd normally be in a desperate position, but I'm going to say that you're in a risky position
Okay.
because you've got that benefit going for you. And I'd say the effect, because you've established you know what you're looking for, is going to be great. So risky, great.
Okay.
Okay. And I have no dice, so I will just go ahead and take more stress. Yay!
Okay,
Take
you're
it.
going to
Okay,
spend a stress.
stress.
Okay,
I'm going to spend distress too.
all right.
All right. So I get one die. All
I have 1 4.
right.
Okay.
Prowl. You said there's risky.
Yeah, risky, great. Yeah.
I have a 3.
Okay, so 4. And also then Richard, you would take 1 stress because
Right.
Shane rolled a 3.
Okay. I'm getting pretty
Um,
stressed.
yeah. Oh
Oh yeah,
boy.
me too. Don't worry.
Okay.
That's how this game works.
I'm at 6 stress right now.
I have
Yeah,
a
I think I
relaxation
am
case
too.
I can pull out.
Okay, so there's a consequence. You suffer harm. A complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. So here's what it is. You get up there. you find what you're looking for, which is basically a file containing correspondences between a member of the hive. Like they have a letterhead that's like embroidered with this bee, because they are, in additional to being a criminal organization, they are also a legitimate merchants organization. So it's not like they wouldn't have this kind of thing. And yeah, so you have some documents basically like negotiating back and forth between the Grey Cloaks and them about what kind of approach they would do. And also, I mean, the thing is, if this got out among the upper echelons of society, no one would actually give a shit, right? Because it would be like, oh well, they're roughing up some union organizers. Who cares? That's fine. But if it gets out among the average people, it could be bad for them. So you get what you're looking for. However, you hear that the Grey Cloaks are coming up from the back room again, and they're coming out into the building, and your method of egress is rapidly closing. So you have an option here. You can try to sabotage what they're like. You can try to sabotage their office for the benefit. However, you're going to be in a desperate position to do it. Or you can try to escape. And we'll say that I'm actually going to probably start a clock here for the Grey Cloaks come back. So let's just do that. I'm just going to start a token layer. And this should be white.
They don't have clocks on here?
I think they do, but I don't know how to use them.
Okay.
I did see that you can put the clock on, well, at least on the character sheet, and then if you click on the thing, it'll put it out here. I know someone also made some badass clocks.
I made clocks for your party, but not on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a way to do it, but
oh, there's a clocks add thing on the character sheet.
Right. So maybe you just need to track it. So this is gonna be a 4-segment clock.
It only does 5 segment. It seems like it only does 5-segment clocks.
I definitely saw more. You also could create a quick generic character sheet and then throw it up there.
Okay. I don't know why this text is not.
You can also just open up roll for your party and use the clock there.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
That's a good way to go. I'm just gonna make one right now.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right.
if you want one of us to keep track of it, we can just make one.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. So you go ahead and make a 4-segment clock. This is for the Grey Cloak's return. And I think that, Michael, you're going to have an opportunity here to delay them.
I want to create that clock. You got me too?
Oh, I'll do it. It's cool.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Okay, so this is the Grey Cloaks returning to the sort of main room. Where
the main floor, yeah, where they'll be blocking the exit. So you kind of so you have an opportunity here to maybe delay them. You've been down in this room, and I guess they're hazing ritual. Yeah, actually, why don't you tell me, what do you think their hazing ritual is?
Well, they saw pretty quickly I didn't take my drink too well.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I'm probably getting a lot of shit. Not necessarily having me drink, because I'm going to fail on that pretty well. At least they think I'm going to pretty quickly. Probably just getting roasted like crazy. I don't know a lot of hazing rituals. I don't know if they're also. But I've already been in a fight, so they're not necessarily going to blood in, blood out kind of thing. they probably have me do stuff like strip naked or something, and I just stuff that's kind of embarrassing, which actually gives me an opportunity when I'm getting to the point where I think we need more time. I've got documents as one of my things, and I've created a document that has the hive symbol on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then some information on a job that I did like a week ago,
Okay.
according to my forgery.
Okay.
And I let that slip out so that they can see the hive symbol.
Okay.
It's kind of like the stuff comes off, it kind of like goes across. I'm like, oh shit, no, that shouldn't have been in these pants.
All right. So I'm gonna say maybe maybe you're gonna take one stress for this flashback, and you just get the thing. Like you don't have to do any special action to create the forgery. However, at this point, you you are gonna have to make an action to deceive them.
All right. Seems like I'm swaying like crazy.
Mm-hmm. So this
Is
would
that
be
risky? Controlled, desperate?
I think this is risky, and it's probably risky standard. Yeah.
Okay. 5.
Okay, a 5. All right. Yeah. So you are. Let's see. Yeah, I think the complication here is that they're yeah, this is the complication. They're gonna send someone up to cross reference the document with the one in the office. So I think we're gonna tick a clock here.
Okay. It's got one. Yeah, the name is vague. It just got the stuff in about a job we did. But yeah. Mm-hmm. So at the point, I'm like, I mean, like, this isn't the problem, guys. I did a job for. I just helped them out about a week ago.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what'd you do for them?"
There was someone they needed to talk to. And listen, I can't give. I don't know what your relationship with them is like. I don't know how much you're supposed to know. All I'm saying is, they had me talk to somebody in a capacity that was part of my official position. And beyond that, I keep the secrets of the people I work for.
They're like, so I guess like the head guy here is just like, all right, I can respect that, I guess. We're going to be checking up on those papers, though,
That's just an address of someone I had to talk to. I mean, it was.
Yeah, we'll be looking into it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then, like, yeah.
Hey, you guys, do you work with the Hive? You know them?
Okay, yeah. I think this is like an action you can take in order to delay them. What's the action you're going to use here?
Again, so like the moment if I'm like, listen, if you've worked for him before, like I don't mind telling tales. So here's the thing: is I'm guessing if you're going up and checking it against something, you've worked with the Hive, so you two are cool turfs.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your action? What are you gonna roll?
Okay. And by the way, the name I put on it was my ex's.
Good.
So I guess it sounds like it's probably a sway again. Because I'm deceiving them.
All right.
I mean, I could see it as consort. They're the same. It's the same thing. It's more deceiving.
Okay. Yeah. So okay.
So yeah, basically, what I'm trying to get them to do is be much more like one. I'm trying to see if they're going to mention something about actually like I got some proof that they've worked with Hive.
Mm-hmm.
And then beyond that, also make it seem like that way I can kind of tell some stories about. Okay, listen, this broad. She had a birthmark on the back of her knee, like. I could basically just tell a story about my crappy ex.
Okay, good. All right, so I think you're in a desperate position here, because you're just flat out asking them about their affiliation, and also they have a tier advantage on you, and I think the effect will be standard. So I think this is desperate standard.
Okay. I'm also like this poor guy that she was seeing. Oh my god, that idiot! You would not believe. I'm gonna push myself for an extra die.
Yeah, good
That's too
idea.
stressed. Submit. Bonus dice. 1, 6, and a 5. And
All
I'm
right.
gonna mark desperation in resolve.
Very good. Very good. So you do it.
I just start spinning tails. Like, you should have seen this dude. He was like, "No, please don't." It was just I start just basically telling them some of the shit that happened to me, but making it seem like someone came in and beat us up, and just going on and we're just spinning this tail while they're going, and doing everything I can to keep it going longer, so that, and just trying to get them rolling and drinking more of the laced wine.
Cool. All right. So Shane, is there any way that we can put the clock back down to 0 ticks?
You can cycle it all the way forward.
It'll just go back to 0.
The other thing is, I think you can hold shift when you click on it.
Oh, okay, got it.
Or maybe control, one of the two.
There we go. Got it. Cool. So we clear the clock because you successfully, delayed them, right? However, the other two of you, now you're in this position. I would say that you're now in a risky position. You can do something to wreck up this shop, wreck up this office. However, there's one gray cloak who's on their way up. You can hear them walking up the stairs.
I don't know that we want to risk breaking shit up. I think getting out sounds like a better plan than anything else.
I am really good at getting us out. In fact, I really should not have rolled with Tyr when we rolled initially, because I have the infiltrator ability.
Right. That is a good point. That is a very good point.
So I'm really good at getting us out. I feel like we want the extra money.
All right.
But, what did you bring that we could just, do you have like a spirit jar?
Sure.
Because if we can release, well, do we have a spirit jar with a spirit in it?
I'm sure we can flashback that.
Yeah.
The question is, are we trying to just kind of get one loose here, or are we trying to somehow plant this or something? I mean,
we want it to be big and obvious so that it's embarrassing to them.
Yeah, maybe someone who's killed by the gray cloaks or something. Basically just get the place haunted.
Yeah, that could.
Or if you could call back that bull.
I don't know. They're not on very good terms, but
Well, you're not calling it back to your home. You're calling it back to somebody else's.
That's true. And specifically, this shithole of gray cloaks.
Yeah.
Right.
That seems like a stupid thing to do, which sounds,
fun.
fun.
All right, so you have.
I feel like I might as well just have one of the Netsuki bulls with me or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
because I think you've already attuned with this spirit before, so you probably don't need to roll for attune necessarily here. I think this could also be a consort if you wanted it to be.
Well, I have the occultist move, which is that. Let's see here. Which is, the secret ways to consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, and demons. Once you've consorted with one, you get +1d command to command cultists who worship it.
So close, so close.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that said, I mean, I feel like I probably won't have. I guess I can attune, or do I need to attune? I guess probably.
I would say you need to do something. So there's clearly an obstacle here to get it to do what you want, but I think that could manifest in different ways depending on how you want to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could even see command being a possibility there.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly. Hmm. Because consort is like socialize with friends and contacts. I don't know if this is.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of a stretch because they're definitely not your friend. Kind of
Yeah.
your contact, but
Um. Huh. Let's see. Something else. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe a tune would probably be the best thing.
okay. All right, so let's
Yeah.
do a tune. And I think this is. I think this is probably desperate. Desperate, great. I think this
Yeah.
is what we're rocking here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if remember, you can take a +1d for stress. You can take a +1d if your friend here, the good doctor, spends a stress.
Oh yeah, I'll spend the stress.
And you can sorry, if you take the two you if you take +1d from you spending the 2 stress, then you can't take a devil's bargain, but you can also take a devil's bargain instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the most you can get is +2d here.
Right. So what is now? I can ask about a devil's bargain, but I don't have to take it. Correct.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. So, what is a devil's bargain that would be on offer?
I think it's that you're going to get haunted by this spirit. I think that, our Talud is not going to be finished with you when this job is done.
Oh, maybe it goes maybe along similar lines. Maybe that like it's maybe easier for the bluecoats to find, or like
so you're effectively taking heat. You end up taking heat because of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Why not?
All right. Cool. Yeah. So you're gonna roll. It's desperate great with a +2d.
All right. +2d or just 1?
+2 because Richard is also spending 1 1 stress. Yeah.
So it's risky.
No, desperate great.
Oh, sorry. Good. Cancel. Tune. Desperate. Great. +2. 4. Jesus.
Okay.
Well,
could have been worse. You do it, but there is a consequence. You suffer severe harm. A serious complication occurs. You have reduced effect. So I think what this is it's great effect, right? So
yeah.
this office is just totally trashed. You see this spirit bull come out and just like start wrecking things left and right. And it's screaming out of obscenities, but they're in some kind of demonic tongue you can't understand.
Sure.
And then it's just gonna come charging out the door, and it's gonna go like running down the stairs, and you can hear it smashing up the front room. And the Grey Cloaks are just gonna come running out because this clock is full. Yeah. So
I did so much work to get the clock down, and now you filled it up.
Yeah, and I think that Reaper, you just like you hear this commotion from upstairs, and like one of the Grey Cloaks is just like, "What the fuck is that?" And then like they all start running up.
Guys, yeah.
All right, so Grey Cloaks are in the main floor. They're like freaking out because they see this spirit bowl crashing around. Some of them probably worship this thing, and this is a bad time for them. But it's also going to make it difficult for you to get out. So all three of you have the opportunity to leave at this point. What are you going to do here?
I'm gonna get me and Forget Me Not out through a side door as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can flashback and say we scouted a little bit. We know where the side. We don't necessarily know the inside of the building. We know the outside pretty well.
So maybe this is because this area of town is like a lot of sort of ramshackle apartment buildings and like 2-story houses that are like all built up close to one another. Maybe this is exiting out a window and like climbing over the roofs.
Right. Yeah. We can just we're in the office, so we can just crack open that window.
Yeah.
And go into the boarding house next door or whatever.
Yeah. So I think this is not. I don't think you need to do a flashback for this. I think you could just do it.
Okay.
So I think this is Prowl, right? This is probably Prowl.
Yeah, this is I'm also evading their security.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm bypassing their security.
Yeah, totally.
Security being them.
Their security being people running around in the common room.
Yeah.
So I'm not affected by quality or tier.
Yeah.
When I bypass security measures, so I'm gonna roll Prowl. Am I leading us, or am I?
You can decide between the two of you which one wants to lead. Basically, whoever has the least stress probably wants to lead.
I think we're both pretty high on stress.
I am at 6.
Okay, I'm at 7.
Okay.
All right.
This means I'm rolling dice?
No, but you both have to roll because this is a group action.
Right. So this is a Prowl.
Right. This is Prowl. It is, I think, risky standard.
So which means that you should probably be as though I'm going to have to push yourself and take 2 more stress in order to have a die.
Right.
So you'll be leading.
Yeah, I'm going to lead. I'm also going to ask for a devil's bargain on this.
Okay.
And we're going out through somebody else's building.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is...
Maybe it's someone else in the who either works or frequents the pleasure barge.
Right.
I can see that.
Drawing into their apartment window.
Yeah. Oh man. What if it's what if this is Vay's apartment?
Oh my god.
Or one of Vay's apartments.
One of Vay's apartments. Yeah.
This would not be his standard.
Yeah. It's a little bit too downscale, but yeah, this could be a studio of some kind. Yes, or they have.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you take a +1D there, and you're rolling risky standard Prowl.
Okay. So, but I ignore quality and
both. I'll say
tier.
both of you do because you make the same roll.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this is risky standard because it's
Okay.
I don't think this is controlled even if you are ignoring tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 2.
Oh.
I have a 4.
Okay, you got a 4.
So I take 1 stress for Shane.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
for Forget Me on it.
And so describe to me how you run into Vay and also manage to extricate yourself from the situation.
I feel like there's Benny Hill music running in the background here. Sorry.
No, that's I feel like I was gonna say I don't really know how to do it without the Benny Hill music running in the background, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best. Uh, I think they is flogging someone who may be new.
Mm-hmm.
And the window the window we open is one he has curtained off, but it's right in front of where he's flogging them.
Sorry, and done.
And I think so when we walk, we literally step into his scene.
Yeah.
That is probably not going in a very frustrating way, because this is a newbie.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull the curtain closed behind Forget Me Not, and then I take the newbie by the hair and hold them so they'll stop. We just kind of hold them for a while they finishes the flogging, just so that they will be slightly less annoyed the fact that I just walked in.
Yeah, so it's just like a montage of scenes like coming in the door, like seeing the situation, flogging this guy, and then it's like a scene of like you all like sitting around a table in the apartment, like sharing some wine together.
Right.
And like the newbie is like still in just like his like kind of like gimp outfit or something.
No, I feel like the newbie is probably the table, and I'm probably having to be Vay's footstool,
Yes.
and Forget Me Not is having to make pleasant conversation.
Yes. That's really good.
Maybe or something like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Reaper, how are you going to get out of here?
I'm sure you can get out pretty quickly in the commotion. I mean,
Yeah.
The moment I see all the ghosts and shit going around, I'm literally like, nope, fuck that, just like run out the door, I'm terrified of
like
the ghosts.
half clothed.
As I come back saying it, I scream like I'm terrified, and then just hightail it out of there.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is. I think you're gonna have to roll an action for this, but it's controlled standard here, and I like you're just rolling prowl, I guess, to get through.
I'll take some stress to give myself the +1 just in case.
Okay.
Because I only got one die on there. 2s.
All right. So I think what happens is like you're running out of here, and you just see the spirit like barrel down the hallway, like at you. No. You just like get sent flying out the door, and like you like hit the outside wall, and you're gonna take some harm here.
Okay.
You've been gored by a spiritual bull.
After that, I'm like, yep, nope.
Yeah.
So taking just one harm.
Yeah, I think you're gonna take one harm there.
Bruised ribs.
This is because it's you suffer harm. Yeah.
Would bruised ribs make sense? I'm basically.
I think you're bruised. Yeah.
Oh my! Oh, why do you have ghosts in you? Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll just kind of like fast forward through the rest of this, where you basically hand over the documents to the Railjacks, and you get paid. So you're gonna, I think you're gonna get 7 coin out of this job. So your crew, we're not using crew. So we're gonna skip over that stuff. And after the payoff, you roll dice equal to your wanted level and read the result according to your heat. So heat. Okay. Heat. You. Okay, so first of all, take your 7 coin. This is, I think, I guess we'll just say it's divided up amongst you, because we don't have any crew stuff we're doing. So each of you take 2. One of you can take an extra coin. Maybe that's going to be Shane, just so he can pay off those spirit debts he's got going on.
Sounds good.
And now we'll do the heat thing. After a score conflict with an opponent, the crew takes heat. Add +1 heat for a high-profile or well-connected target. I don't think that's it. Add +1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf. Yes. Add +1 heat if you're at war. No. Add +2 heat if killing was involved. No. So...
But there was... the bull, I think we did say, was going to add
yeah,
additional.
+1 heat for that, so it's +2 heat. And this was a loud and chaotic job, I would say. So you're up to 6 heat. So yeah, pretty intense heat there. However, it was a good time. So yeah, so I think that's gonna kind of round out our session there. We just need to do the end of session move. If we can find it. If it's on this sheet. Oh, maybe it's on the GM sheet. No. Okay, I'm just gonna find it in the book then. Where is that in the book? I know there's an end of session move.
End of session XP.
Yeah, that's it. What
I'm
page
finding
is that?
XP, but I'm not finding a move.
So, what page?
48.
48? Okay.
There's crew advancement. You check for those triggers. I think it might just be like the end of session might be checking all your advancement stuff.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay.
Which for a one shot isn't usually that.
Yeah, not that important, but I did want to just go through these questions a little bit because it's a nice way to wrap up the session. So desperate rolls, you get 1 XP for that. So I feel like
is it XP or XP directly to directly to the action?
Mark 1 XP in the attribute for the action you rolled. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, if you roll a if you roll a desperate skirmish action, you mark XP in prowess. Yeah, when you roll in a group action that's desperate, you also mark XP, but we didn't do any desperate group actions.
Remember? I guess we can just scroll through here.
Yeah, just scroll through there and you can tally those up.
I addressed a challenge with deception or influence multiple times.
Yes,
I think
certainly.
I addressed the challenge with arcane power.
Definitely did that. Richard, did you hit your trigger there? Oh, you're muted. Oh, okay. Still can't hear you for some reason.
Now he's muted.
Sorry, I somehow remuted.
Okay.
Yeah, I used stealth and evasion was my trigger. So
Yep, cool. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Do you think any of that played into this? I don't think so, right?
My background would have.
Oh, right. Yeah, background
Right.
is like your... Yeah. So... I think that's maybe only for Shane. You struggled with issues from your vice or traumas. I think Richard, you get 1 for that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we didn't do a downtime phase because I just wanted to wrap things up. But we probably would have gotten into that if we had done the downtime phase. All right, cool. Yeah, so that is the session of Blades in the Dark. So do you just want to do a very quick Thorns and Roses thing? Is that cool?
You want to do it here, or do you want to do it on Discord?
Might as well do it here just so I have it in the recording.
Cool.
So yeah, do you have any thorns about the game or about the session?
I mean, I think one shots are tricky with this game.
Yeah.
Like you don't get the crew, which I think is kind of something that you miss.
Apocalypse World games in general always miss some if you're doing one shots.
Yeah, I find the only one that really works for me in one shots is Dungeon World. I find that's always pretty good in one shot, but the others, yeah, it's a little more difficult.
And I myself kind of felt like I was kind of struggling to find ways of interjecting myself, but I think, and I kept on doing the same thing, which isn't the worst thing. I mean, that's fine. It's kind of like what the Whisperer does, but it definitely didn't. I'm not sure that the Whisperer was overly useful for this sort of a situation, but that's not it. That's just how the situation came out.
Yeah, and I wonder if that would have played out a little differently if we had a crew playbook to work with. Yeah.
And I was trying something in the game, especially if I'm playing a character like this. It's easy to do too much in some, because like the amount of I've been doing improv since '94, and so like making those quick decisions for a character like that for things that I could do is really, really simple. Mm-hmm. So there's times where it's like I don't want to take up too much spotlight in some of those, because I know that like with my troop, I'm usually one of the starters. We have several people who will follow but don't lead a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So part of it's just sort of breaking those habits. Just trying not to get into those habits. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a point where I'm like, okay, I've had too many scenes. Let's get you guys on some of those.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I very much thank you, Kyle, for being pretty good about like making sure everybody gets a piece.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of my job to manage that spotlight stuff, right? So.
Yeah, my only frustration was just getting to reused to the system. It'd been so long since I actually gotten to play it,
right?
And then kind of getting reused to the system and what abilities do, and also I was really, usually when I'm learning a new system, I go for the hit hard playbook, especially in Apocalypse Worlds games, because I get a real clear picture of what I do. So I was sort of stepping out of my comfort zone, which may not have been the best decision for a one shot. So
this is also a game that hits you. It hits you with you almost never get full on successes.
Yeah,
particularly when you're just starting.
Yeah, I think we had
almost never
one crit in the whole session.
Yeah, we had a lot of like partials and a lot
of partials. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, any roses then for the session or the game?
I really appreciate all the stuff you did sharing Spotlight. You did a good job there, and I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
And how patient you were at like teaching rules.
Yeah, that's it's only my second time running this game, so personally for myself, I was really glad we got to hit a lot of the different rules and aspects of this game in one session. Like we did a lot of flashbacks, we did a setup action, we did like 2 scores, we got through the engagement roll, we did information gathering, We did fortune rolls. We did a resistance roll. We did a group action. I think we covered tons of different aspects of the game, and I thought that was awesome. And like and then, like you all just kind of rolled with it, and it wasn't like frustrating for anyone. It seemed like to any degree you'd expect beyond like this is my first time playing in a long time kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah, I like the heist aspect of it. I wish it would have taken a little bit more from Leverage, even though it did. But I mean, outside of that, this is probably the best. Outside of Leverage, Blades in the Dark is the best heist game.
So, what did you find lacking in this game that is in Leverage?
Leverage works the aspects where the characters are aiding each other a lot more. The flashback stuff, because you're spending plot points, which is fairly easy to get, and the complications don't necessarily have to be quite as dire. They absolutely can be, but like I was doing a con game of Leverage, and someone was sinking into a hospital. They rolled like 2 opportunities for me, which means I get to put like a condition or a thing down, and we made it like a one of those like doctor, you have to help with this emergency birth kind of thing, and we had all this stuff, and more complications. It was a C-section, so then you had like the hacker actually hacked in and put out the fire alarm, so they'd have to he could just get the hell away before he ended up killing this person.
Right. So there's that cooperative.
This gives you more on your own. The synergy is not there as much.
Right. I guess I can kind of see that for like the legwork actions. I was kind of trying to split you all up and get you to do your own deal. And I think that overall this session, I basically ran it pretty like with a pretty light touch. Like I don't think I was super harsh on the consequences. Was that like enjoyable, or did you want to see me like slam you a lot more with with like really intense consequences?
I think it would have. I think you did a relatively good job of as it became more and more regular that we were failing, you weren't bringing it as hard each time, because that would have just started to feel just oppressive. So,
especially for starting out characters.
Yeah,
this is where like that the +1 most crews will give you like a +1 to something. Really helps a ton when you have this like stats as low as they are.
Yeah, right.
Blades.
That's a good point.
Like if you did it without a crew, I'd probably take at least decide what the crew is and take the one where everyone gets to add 1 to one of their skills.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just say, well, we're not going to go through the whole procedure, but everybody take this +1. Yeah. Okay.
I really dug that you, specifically for my stuff, I really dug that you kind of just ran with my ideas and whatnot for like how spirit stuff worked and like where I was going to go with that and stuff like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. I thought you all like rolled with the system pretty well and came up with. I feel like Blades, it gives you some opportunities for creating a character background, but I think until you hit that first downtime phase, it doesn't really start to happen, right? Like I had an idea that the Grey Cloaks were going to be actually run by this Basso's Baz, by Reaper's ex-girlfriend's brother. But I didn't actually get to bring that in there. But otherwise, I didn't feel like I got to bring in your relationships all that much in this session. Although there was the Silver Swan thing, that was good. And yeah, I guess for Richard, for your character, we got to hit that quite a bit. But
no pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And the first session of Blades is usually like, okay, here's the system, here's what you can do, and then the consequences from that first. There's almost always consequences from the first session, and they start to just roll themselves up. So the rest of it then happens naturally.
Yeah. So I feel like the character drama was a little bit limited in this session, but I still felt like the legwork and heist stuff was interesting enough that it kind of carried it. And you were both like you were all really helpful in terms of setting up the situation. I really appreciated that. That was really good. All right, so I think that's kind of gonna do it for this session. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for running, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and see you around.
Have a good one.
On Slack.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.